Self-Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Now, here are your hosts, Peter and CJ.
Welcome in. What's going on? Happy Monday, everybody. I only know it's Monday because I wasn't up here for 2 days. As we continue the quarantining, the physical distancing, it all feels very strange. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. Got me, CJ, and John this week as we continue to roll along up here at Flynn Broadcasting. We've got a great show lined up for you. We've got a lot to get to. We're going to, of course, at 7:50, we're going to spin that wheel. The wheel of conversation. There's a whole lot of randomness on this wheel. I've added some more randomness to it. We're going to spin it at 7:50, and we're going to talk about whatever the hell that topic is at 8:30. We're also going to talk about Tyler Harris and his decision to transfer. He made that announcement over the weekend. NFL talk with the draft this week. We're going to look at some of the Tigers in the draft, specifically Antonio Gibson, Patrick Taylor Jr., what they might do for their respective teams and what would be a good fit for both of those people. We're also going to talk some NFL talk as people are looking into trades, looking into pitting up players as a trade piece. If you think about what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing with Leonard Fournette and trying to acquire quality pieces, when you think about what the 49ers are rumored to be interested in Evan Ingram. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to, I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but that Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, aired last night. So we're going to talk about that also, and we will discuss so much more. You can be a part of the show by texting in 67129, 67129 on the First Bank text line. You can also be a part of the show by calling in 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines. Bring in John. John, my man, how was the weekend?
That mic was so far. I was like, where'd it go, man? I was like, that daggum thing disappeared on me, man. It was a very weird, a strange, fun, chill weekend. I don't know where we are with this whole Rona. I don't know where we are right now, but it was a very chillax Monday. Weekend going into Monday. But what I'm saying is I was all excited because this whole weekend led into today, which is 420.
Oh, it is 420. Oh.
So happy 420, everybody.
Happy 420 to you, John. I know you have a special place in your heart for whatever people are doing on 420.
Scooby snacks, gummy bears, whatever you do out there. Enjoy it.
What is your snack? Your favorite snack?
My favorite?
Yes.
Man, that's a tough one. Ooh. Well, like, this is a tough question. Like, my favorite snack would have to be the Rice Krispie treats.
Okay.
But my favorite edibles are it's the powder you just pour in your drink. I love that.
Okay.
Like, because it only takes like 2 little scoops. Whoop, whoop. Put it in your little drink, stir it up, and then instead of it being like Sunny D, it's like Sunny Dank.
So, when I hear that people get a little hungry after they could partake in 420 Day, what is your go-to food item? Like, what is the...
I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I don't live far at all from Central Barbecue.
Okay.
Their banana pudding is a go-to must. Like, that's one of my... that is a staple of my diet.
Okay.
The banana pudding. And then also Bluebell ice cream.
So you get the sweets when
I
you
love
get it.
sweets.
Okay.
I have a sweet tooth.
All right.
Now, when I want to go to chow down, I straight up go barbecue or the pulled chicken. Heck, I get the half chicken sometimes. I've been down with that lately.
But there's no
everything down there.
There's no national food item for this particular day. Like when I think about Thanksgiving, I think about like turkey and dressing.
Las Delicias Mexican food. Like,
is that what it is?
Dude, get slant-eyed, stupid high, and go eat you a taco. Oh, you know what I do?
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, go ahead.
Go eat you a taco. Go get you can't see, like, you're like, yo, is homie awake? And then go in there and get you a margarita and a couple of street tacos. That sounds like a perfect 420.
Is that
and listen to a lot of Dead today.
Okay, so there are quite a few
widespread. There's a lot of artists out there, but
Rick James, the Chronic
yeah,
2,
dude,
Chronic 3. Like, how many Chronics are there? Listen to all of that. But yeah, so like 4th of July, I think barbecue cookouts. Thanksgiving, I think turkey. Christmas is like ham and other sides. 420 Day is Central Barbecue and tacos.
Yup. And by the way, and
ice
margaritas, and because they go well. I know it's not like Cinco de Mayo, it's 420, but for some reason, when you let's just say partake in 420, nothing washes down a good old whatever with a nice margarita and a couple tacos.
So how are you celebrating today? I know this is a holiday near and dear to you, John.
I'm just starting at 10 o'clock. I will be making an order to 11. No, I mean, I'm off the air at like 9:56.
You're right.
I'm on at 10.
I'll be sure to get out at 9:56 on the dot. I know you've got
10
places
o'clock,
to go.
I got to rock.
Okay. All right. This is an interesting article. All it says is coronavirus sends 420 gatherings up in smoke, but potheads still playing virtual toke. You gonna get in virtually on that, John?
By the way, this is kind of interesting that you bring that up. I never even heard of this until yesterday, and you wouldn't even believe this. You know my little sunshine show that's all sweet and loving and everything? Yeah. Like
the one on Sundays.
The one on Sunday morning with little sunshine,
6 or
man.
7. What time is it?
Somehow I was watching that, and like they had like an advertisement for like a marijuana company, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm like looking it up, and yes, it was a virtual, like all these people. It's a Tinder for potheads, is the way I kind of understood it.
Okay.
Like you can set up dates around pot. You can set up, hey, I have a dog. You have a dog. I like to eat gummies. You like to eat gummies? Well, let's eat some gummies and go walk our dogs. That was the literal conversation I was noticing on these places. So I honestly have to tell you, this place is great. I'm going to look it up.
There's a hill in San Francisco. I don't know how familiar you are with it, John, called Hippie Hill. And when 420 hits, large gatherings take place at Hippie Hill. It's called Hippie Hill for a reason. Last year, they had about...
Like if the National Forests were open, Joshua Tree would be really dope tonight.
Oh, would it? They had 15,000 people there on Hippie Hill last year. But because we live in a different time, they decided they're going to build a super tall fence and make sure nobody gets to Hippie Hill. So please celebrate 420 responsibly, people. And by responsibly, I mean while keeping your physical distance. It might not be the best time to pass the Dutchie with your left hand.
No. I got to say this. This is the first time we puff, no passing, because we're all
puff, no pass.
We're just individual rip. We're all individual ripping in a row. With the pandemic, no offense, I hate to say it, because usually the whole marijuana culture and the 420 culture is about sharing, and sharing is caring, and you can share your gummies or you can share whatever, but we ain't passing this thing. Don't pass it to the left.
Chong is getting on there. Chong is going to be a part of the virtual tote.
Is he going? So is it Leafy.com or which one of the places is doing it?
That I don't know. I'll try and figure that out.
I'll look that up.
Look that up for me.
You do real work.
This is real work. I'm talking to the people.
That's right.
Happy 420 Day. Text in 67129. Let me know. Let John know how you are going to be celebrating. And if you've got a preferred strain, send that in as well. 67129 on the First Bank text line. It is so hard to...
Girl Scout cookie, by the way, just so people out there know, if you want to know how I'm celebrating, with one of my favorite Girl Scout cookies.
So I was about to transition.
Oh, I just had to make sure that the people out there, because Girl Scout cookies is like, man, I've been waiting for today for this.
Now I've got so many questions about these Girl Scout cookies. Like, are the Girl Scouts making special cookies?
It is actually, it's an OG Kush and a Durban Poison hybrid cross.
Oh, okay. So that is the name
Sweet,
of
something.
I have no clue what these names
and
are.
Relaxation. It helps with pain, nausea, and appetite loss. It is so good.
Okay. All right. See, I had no clue. I'm glad I asked. I was like, are the Girl Scouts getting in on the ground floor of this 420 thing? Like, have they been in on it? What's going on?
It's a happy one. Like, it's one of the ones like people will look at different things. Like, it's a happy, like there's calming energy and happy. It's more towards the happy and energy.
All right. So many weird names for these things.
I know, like Blue Dream and Sour Diesel and AK and
I don't know any of that. I know Kush. That's all I got.
hold
That's
on,
it.
every time you say, "Yo, you got the Kush?"
That's all I got. That's all I got. I can't tell you how many times because I don't partake in it like that, and I can't tell you how many times I'm walking down the street. And granted, it is late at night, and granted, I do have like a Domino's pizza in my hand, and people stop me like, "Hey, where the weed at?" It's like, dog, I don't know. I have no clue. Well, it's midnight. You're walking up and down Highland with a Domino's pizza in your hand. Where's the weed? You clearly got the munchies. He's like, no, I'm just a fat ass. I'm hungry. I have no clue where the weed is. But hey, again, everybody, celebrate responsibly. Please continue to keep your physical distancing and physically distant. Hop in on one of those Zoom meetings, man. Get with your friends and celebrate on Zoom. However you choose to do it, as long as you are physically distant from one another. I saw that beaches began to reopen in North Carolina, I'm pretty sure.
Florida this morning, I know for sure. I was watching it this early. But on Florida, they're only allowed, they can't, like the weird thing about the beaches being open in Florida, and I just found this out this morning, of course, they're only open for a certain period of time. You can fish, you can swim, you can run, you can walk your dogs, but you can't bring coolers, you can't sit down, you can't sunbathe. So there's no staying, like you can't like just chill. So when you go to the beach, you have to either be walking, swimming, fishing, you have to be doing an activity, and they say you have to still social 6 feet social distancing and all that stuff. But again, this is almost kind of like, it's like a school experiment we're watching down in the Gulf, like down in Jacksonville, Florida, and different parts of Florida where they've reopened the beaches.
Yeah, and it's, again,
I'm
everybody,
just praying, baby.
Please be safe. Please be safe. Please don't go out unless you have to. I get that we don't have that issue here, but we have issues with parks.
They've been really good lately, I think.
I
think everybody in the city's actually been
really
doing a good job. Mine's been empty. It's been like my park. I don't know if you saw a couple of my pictures. Like I haven't been seeing human beings
because it's blocked.
Well, that is true. It is blocked.
That's been the thing with these parks. Before everything
I do
got
have to
blocked,
say, if they leave it blocked all year long, I kind of do like going down there and having like my own damn park.
I've been down there. We went down there last week, walked around up and down the steps. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Tom Lee Park. I like the fact that it is blocked off. I think that is fun, and that allows for a different level of activity, and for it to feel like you're just walking along the riverside. You're walking along there, and you're not as congested. It's not as crowded, like you were saying. I enjoy it. I understand why you would like having it that way. But think about what all had to happen. They had to block that, block Riverside. They had to block. Is that Front Street, Riverside? I get the two mixed up.
Riverside is the one that's actually Front Street's actually the second street, which makes no sense.
Got you. So they had to block that off here. They had to take down rims from basketball goals.
They put up they didn't take the rims down. They actually, what they did is they took wood, and it was kind of genius. They just took two pieces of wood and then they just drilled them together.
Is this
in the middle?
Is this
this is downtown, and that way, so you can't shoot a ball in the hole. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just wood clamped. I've never seen it.
Up the street, they've been taken down.
Wow! See, I haven't been up there.
Precinct and across from where I stay, over in Binghampton, off of home.
See, I think LeBonner did the same thing because I was driving by there.
Took the rims off. Also,
they took them down.
Yeah, just take the rims off, put them back up when everything clears. But that had to take place before we got to the point to where people were like, okay.
I hate to say it. I think the people that took down the rims are going to see what the people did downtown and say, damn, that was a lot smarter. That's like one screw.
All the way it goes, you're going to have to figure out how to screw in or unscrew something. Here's something interesting about the Florida beaches opening. You brought it up, John. Police patrolling the beach ended up finding a homicide suspect.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold up, time out. You're telling me they were down there doing some COVID research, and then all of a sudden they just are like, yo, homie's got a warrant for murder?
In Jacksonville. The guy's name is Mario Matthew
I just mentioned Jacksonville.
He was kicking it. Yeah, he was kicking it near the dunes, hanging out, and police went up to him and started talking to him, ran some information. Gotti was wanted for murder up in Pennsylvania in a homicide case. So again, I don't know what happens to people's minds when they get down to Florida. Why they just lose all their sense. You would think if you got away with something like that, or if you're wanted for something like that, you keep your ass inside.
Correct. And I have a couple texts that I think need to be addressed because it looks like it's an emergency and it's early in the morning and I want to give them the most amount of day to start their day the right way. A couple people are texting, and one says, "There's a Tinder for stoners. What is the name?" And another one says, "You mean there's a Tinder for stoners that like dogs?" And believe it or not, I did look that up, and it's called Doobie. It's a dating app designed specifically for dog lovers and potheads.
We've got a daggum Tinder app for every damn body.
Doobie is, and it's Duby. It is the dating app for dog lovers, potheads, and people who love dispensaries, is what it says.
Oh, okay.
Leafy is just pretty much, it tells you about every strain imaginable. And then My Canary, it's another one that's pretty funny. But the one there, Hi There, I thought, Hi There is...
I see what you did.
What it says.
I see what you did.
It's a 420 friendly dating app. Everybody on there, like nobody thinks marijuana is taboo, so you set up what they call is stoner dates. Huh? Interesting.
So, again, I don't partake like that, John. Forgive me for constantly asking you questions.
By the way, why didn't I invent this?
I don't know. I got. I
was
guesses.
like introduced to Tinder.
Have you seen a change in the way we celebrate this day now that weed is no longer as taboo as it once was?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you mean? How's that?
Okay, let's just say outside of Memphis, like say, heck, you can go over to Arkansas, like if you're in Colorado, Oregon, Washington, D.C., if you're up north, a lot of places that, Michigan, the places that have, by the way, it's funny, did you see the people at Michigan? Like, one of the funniest, because they were kind of mad at, they were like people protesting in Michigan or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that.
But did you see the one dude who was protesting and he was smoking like the biggest joint ever? And he was like, "I can smoke this fat doobie, but I can't go to work." And I don't know why. That one stuck out for me. I was like, you know what? That's a really good, if I'm going to, I like that. But I don't even know what I was talking about now.
But what the differences that you've seen?
Yeah, people
just more open and
like
more
they're
people?
more open.
Mm-hmm.
There's more people. It's gotten much more relaxed, and it's also gone into where it's almost I don't want to say yuppie-fied. It's like people, instead of like it being like nothing but say, and I hate to just do this, but the hippie generation, like people who didn't bath and hung out in a VW bus and were sitting around playing a banjo and singing some songs, you know what I'm saying?
Right, Willie Nelson now.
It's not that. Now it's like the people who are drinking fine wine in a nice place. You got your friends coming over, this couple and that couple, and it's like, they're smoking pot, and it's more of just a social activity instead of like it used to be it had to be like you went out to a field or you went to a party and it was like a celebration.
Be quiet about it.
You had to be at a festival back then. Today it's been brought and it's more normalized, and it's just more of a day for like even friends and family than it has been about festivals and stuff.
Got you. Okay. All right. Just wondering about how that is all
is
changed.
MJ going to be on today? Do we got a new part of MJ?
No, MJ's not. Did you watch?
Dude, I have honestly no, because I only found out about it from watching Scott Van Peasy that it came out. Dude, I've been letting Honey run the remote control for the last couple days.
When there's one TV, you gotta.
Well, when there's no sports,
and there's nothing on,
and I basically said, when we get sports back, I hope you know that I'm putting you on a 4-month block.
Yeah. So for those of you who missed it, the Jordan documentary aired yesterday, John. But you can, I'm sure it's on demand. You can hop on there today. As you partake in your 420 celebration and watch the last dance about Michael Jordan and that last run the Bulls went on. It was some interesting things in there, and we are definitely going to talk about that in the 8 o'clock hour. We also are going to talk about Tyler Harris coming up next. For those of you who missed it, Tyler Harris announced on social media that he is going to be transferring. And so he is out, and that creates it opens up some space in that guard rotation for Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers, but they're losing somebody who can shoot the ball. and they really need a shooter. And that is something that Penny Hardaway is going to have to get out there and try and grab this late in the recruiting cycle, on top of all the other complications that go along with recruiting right now in this coronavirus time we live in. Tyler Harris said, quote, on Twitter, "I also want to thank the Tiger Nation in the city of Memphis for embracing me with the memories and moments that I will never forget. With that being said, I have decided to take a new journey in life and enter the transfer portal." Penny Hardaway released this statement about Tyler Harris transferring, saying, quote, "I wish Tyler well, and I personally want to thank him for what he did for Tiger basketball. From one 901 kid to another, I wish him nothing but the best." And I think that I think all wish Tyler Harris the best.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I know I do. I mean, I just want the young man. I mean, this is a kid who played at Cordova and was a superstar out of Cordova High School. Came here with a lot of this was Penny. He was part of Penny's first ever recruiting class. I mean, him getting A-Lo and Tyler Harris.
It was a big deal when he got Tyler Harris.
That's what I'm saying. Getting these two kids to come play together, that was a very, very big deal. It didn't work out exactly, I'm sure, the way that Tyler or Penny or anybody wished. Wiseman with everything last year, the season being cut off, no March Madness, didn't get to play in the tournament, yada, yada. All kinds of stuff went the wrong way. Didn't have a very good week in recruiting. Kind of thought he was going to stay and everybody was going to come back since they ain't been landing much. You know what I'm saying? But with Harris bouncing, I mean, honestly, he played with a little bit of swagger. I mean, he's a guy who wasn't afraid to throw it up from way, way deep, and I just have a feeling that what stinks is his best years are going to be like his junior and senior year as he, again, and I say grow into himself. He's not going to ever be some, 6-foot dude who's just a big guy, but with his speed, he's learning the college game, and I just feel like he'll get it, and he'll always be a defensive liability. But from, again, one 901 kid, like Penny said, to another, I think they do have mutual respect for each other, and I just hope he goes on. And I think Memphis fans like him. I wish him well.
He could be Marcus Howard. Now, Marcus Howard is a much more prolific scorer, but Marcus Howard is 5'11". Cassius Winston, unanimous all Big Ten first team selection.
See, Marcus Howard, I don't know if I can go with, man. Marcus Howard is straight up a scorer. The height.
From a height standpoint. And Xavier Simpson from Michigan, Big Ten all-conference member. Peyton Pritchard, another shorter player. And all of these guys emerged their junior and senior year.
And that's what I was waiting for Tyler Harris.
He can definitely be that. We're going to talk more about this on the other side, what it means for Penny Hardaway and the Tigers basketball program, what might Tyler Harris be looking for in a new home to play basketball, and more. If you want to talk about that or anything else, be a part of the show by calling in. 67129 is not the call-in number. That's a text number. So text in on the First Bank text line, 67129. If it's your first time texting us, feel free to text 56-JOIN to 67129 on the First Bank text line. After you do that, you're locked in. You save us as a contact, and you can text away. You can also give us a call on the First Bank phone line, 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines. We got Tyler Harris and Tigers men's basketball coming up next on our 420, baby. Don't you dare touch that dial. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ right here on 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. A lot has happened overnight, and just wanted to let you know we're open at Sunrise for all your automotive needs. Service, body shop, parts, and sales. Go online to sunrisememphis.com to schedule an appointment. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% up to 84 months with deferred payments up to 120 days. You can shop online. We'll bring the car or truck to you. At Sunrise, we know you want to feel safe, so bring your car or truck to any Sunrise location, and we'll disinfect it at no charge. Sunrise, stress-free and safe. Covington Pike, Wolfchase, and Collierville.
Hey, sports fans, you already know the Butcher Shop has been a great Memphis tradition since 1981, and it still is. The Butcher Shop is absolutely open for your takeout with curbside pickup or Grubhub delivery because the Butcher Shop is still serving your favorite steaks, fish, and seafood. But now you can also pick them up raw and take them home to cook. You get the highest quality from the Butcher Shop and the comfort of home cooking. All wine and beer selections can be sold and picked up curbside as well. Plus, order curbside and pickup and receive 10% off your food order. And how about Burger Fridays? Treat your company to lunch, and the Butcher Shop will deliver Hamburger Friday any day of the week with all the fixins for just a minimum $250 order. The Butcher Shop is here for you, so don't worry about getting a great meal. The Butcher Shop has cooked or uncooked meals for curbside pickup or Grubhub delivery. Call 757-4244 or online at thebutchershop.com. The Butcher Shop at the Agri Center, Walnut Grove, and Germantown Parkway.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me Saturdays 8 to 9 a.m. for Sidelines here on Sports 56 WHBQ, 87.7 FM, and 96.1. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, and your favorite team. Give us a call. That's Sidelines, Saturday mornings, 8 to 9 a.m. Sidelines is presented by Duncan Williams Asset Management. So get up and give us a call.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back in, everybody. Welcome back in. Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. We ended last segment talking about Tyler Harris and his decision to transfer. That's where we're going to pick up in this segment. You guys feel free to text in 67129 on the First Bank text line. And give us a call, 360-8255 on the First Bank phone line as well. So, Tyler Harris, why might Tyler Harris decide to transfer? And it, to me, it's clear. The minutes aren't there. And if you're Coach Hardaway, you've got to run with the hot hand. That was one of the things we heard complaints about during the season, was the fact that, hey, the rotation isn't as crisp as it needs to be, isn't as sharp as it needs to be. Some of these guys are playing too many minutes. And if you're a shooter like Tyler Harris, it's hard to find a rhythm when you're only playing 15 minutes against East Carolina or 15 against UConn, 18 against Temple, only 8 against Central Florida. That is hard for a shooter to come into a game and bow. Just go make it work and find rhythm when there is some games he's playing 28 minutes, other games he's playing 18, 17 minutes. That it is very hard as a shooter to get your rhythm going. And so that's one reason why. And it's that backcourt is crowded, man. It's crowded. And I don't think Tyler Harris separated himself. Really, nobody in that backcourt separated themselves. Maybe Boogie. Boogie looks like towards the end of the season, Boogie had separated himself from the rest of that backcourt. But nobody, honestly, to me, had separated themselves in that group of guards. Not Alo, not Tyler.
See, I thought Boogie Ellis was the biggest disappointment on the team by far, period.
Really?
Like, there was not a person I was more disappointed. This is a guy who was talked about being a first-round draft pick and couldn't get on the court.
Boogie Ellis?
Yeah, did you watch last year? Boogie was not good, bro.
When they put the ball in his hands, he was much
Boogie
better.
He was not much good.
When the ball in his hands towards the end of the season, he was much, much better. Some of this, I think, some of Boogie Ellis' struggles and some of the team struggles, especially on the offensive end, I feel like was so turnover-driven. Like, you can't run good sets because you are turning the ball over constantly. And I felt like when Boogie had the ball placed in his hands towards the end of the year, he was a better weapon. He had found better use of his skills, and Penny Hardaway found a better way to use them.
So, like, honestly, like, he was the guy who I thought would have transferred even before Tyler Harris.
That is what I was thinking also. That is what I thought. If you had asked me at the end of the season, hey, who's going to transfer, I would have said Boogie. Boogie probably is the one that is going to leave, but he decided to come back, and it is crowded in that backcourt. And I don't. Do you think anybody separated themselves? I don't. I thought maybe
honestly,
Boogie. I don't think anybody
I had to look
else.
at make sure he had the worst field goal percentage on the team. That's how bad Boogie was last year, and he was supposed to be a scorer and a guy. He shot not from the 3-point line. His field goal percentage was 33%.
Yeah,
worst on the team.
When you think about all the turnovers, though, that Alo,
he's got those.
Well, not like Alo and what's my man's name? Who I'm forgetting. That's gonna bother me now. Who's the other one? Not Boogie, not Tyler, not Alo.
You're talking about Shorts, Keonis?
Not Keonis. Damian.
Oh, Ball.
Damian Ball. That was the one.
Ball was disappointed because I thought he was gonna be so much just better a lockdown defender.
And it's when you factor in the turnovers that Damian Ball have and that Alex Lomax has. I think that makes them, especially Alo for me, because I thought Alo was going to be that veteran presence as a sophomore, that guy who gets everybody under control and has firm control of the offense, so he's not making all of those turnovers. I felt like Alo, if we wanted to have that conversation, would be the one who let me down the most this season. Now, I still think the world of Alex Lomax. I still think given another year of growth and maturity, much like Tyler Harris, given another year of growth and maturity, he is a different player. We talked about a bunch of these guys going into the break. Your Xavier Simpsons, your Cassius Winstons, Pritchard, Marcus Howard, who really emerged that junior year and just bow. We knew they were okay. We knew they were good enough, but they bowed. That junior season, they emerged, and it is, they're different now. And that senior year is something special. So I still think Alex Lomax can give you that. I still think Tyler Harris can give you that. I don't think anybody in that guard group this year separated themselves, and that's why we.
I agree, but I think this year they could. Yeah.
Random.
Honestly, Penny this year could not figure out what the heck to do with the top. I mean, other than Precious, who was a consistent double-double machine down low, the consistency with everyone else was not there. I mean, it took Lester Quiones, the guy who had the best shot, everybody was saying, forever to really find his stroke, and then he had the injury. DJ Jeffries had his injury, and he was that scorer that they needed to open up the floor. Losing Wiseman, it's like everything that was supposed to happen, Ball, Ellis, Harris, Alo, unfortunately, it sucks, but to be honest with you, this team was the best defensive team I'd ever seen. But putting it in the hole, they couldn't do that, man. I'm telling you, it was sad.
Yeah, it is. And I think part of the reason expectations were so high, I don't think we understand what it means to be a top 150 player versus a top 50 player versus a top 20 player versus a top 5 player. Like there are stark differences in those rankings. And what the Tigers had, while that recruiting class was great, they had Precious, and then like Boogie was 38 in the class, and then Lester and DJ were around 40 to 50. And that's what they had to run with. I'm excluding James Wiseman because James didn't play but 3 games this season. And you saw that, hey, it takes that player a little bit longer to adjust to the speed and the physicality of the college game. And so if you're Tyler Harris, what are you looking for in your next home? I would assume that Tyler Harris knows, and people around Tyler Harris know, that he needs reps. That is something he needs a lot of, and that he can't get that, or he's not going to get that at Memphis because he hadn't separated himself. So Tyler Harris should be looking for a place where he can play. And again, find a rhythm. It is really, really hard for shooters to just come off the bench and have their minutes be so sporadic. And one game play almost 30, and the next game play closer to 13, 14 minutes. It is hard for you to find a rhythm, and shooters need that rhythm. And Tyler Harris had the green light. You brought it up, John, when we went to break, just the swagger, you called it, but his fearlessness in taking some of those threes. And were they necessarily the best of shots all the time? No. Shot selection was definitely an issue with Tyler Harris. But on this team, somebody needed to take those shots and to keep the floor spread and keep the floor spaced. And that's what Tyler Harris allowed for you to do. And one of the ways teams defended Memphis was, hey, everybody but Tyler Harris pack it in. Lester was supposed to be able to shoot. And you brought up the fact Lester struggled to find his rhythm also. Boogie was supposed to be a scorer. Didn't emerge as that till later in the season and was really inconsistent with it late in the season. You got Alex Lomax out there who is not known as a shooter. Tyler Harris was that shooter for this team, and he had to take those shots. Penny Hardaway has got to find somebody else who can keep the floor spaced. Otherwise, it's going to make that offense that he runs, that pro-style offense that the Tigers want to run, where you are penetrating and pitching, it makes it less threatening. That pitch, it doesn't keep that pitch honest. So people can then pack in on the paint and pack in the paint so that when you penetrate, like there's nothing you can do because there's no fear from anybody in the corner on the wing that they'll knock down a three on any consistent level, any consistent basis. So the Tigers definitely need to get a shooter, and workout videos being what they are, John. I know that everybody looks good in the workout video. One of the things, Boogie Ellis posted one or some workout pictures here recently, and one of the things that stood out to me about Boogie, he looks like he's getting that man body. Like he looks like he's getting a bit bigger, a bit more physical. And if he can do that and have the strength to be able to deal with contact in the paint and still finish, if he can deal with getting into the paint, getting contact and still making that next pass or even knocking down threes late in games, that is something that is going to be really encouraging for Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers. I don't know, though, what they have lined up in terms from a recruiting standpoint. I think that they...
Dude, Green's gone, homie, especially on a 420. It's kind of funny to mention that. Green be gone.
I don't know what all they have lined up, though, from a recruiting standpoint. I know they got the junior college kid here recently and Jalen Green, and that's it. Brown, they got to get that. They got to hit on that. And I don't think we've received any word on have you heard whether or not Precious is leaving? I haven't heard anything. I think we are all assuming that Precious is gone, though. So a team without Precious Achiuwa, without Tyler Harris, what is that going to get you? They're going to run this back with the same players, basically, minus those two and James Wiseman. What does that get you? How good are you without Precious Achiuwa and Tyler Harris to space the floor? That is something that is going to, whenever Tigers basketball gets back to practice, whenever they get back to playing games, that is going to be something that Penny Hardaway and this Tigers basketball program are definitely going to need to address. Because, again, it's going to make it very, very hard. You brought up the fact they were great defensively, but they were terrible offensively. Part of the reason they were bad and they struggled offensively, people couldn't make shots and turnovers. It is going to be hard to open up the offense enough and have open passing lanes and open shooting lanes, open driving lanes when you don't have somebody who can shoot.
I think Malcolm Dandridge is going to be a beast. I think this dude is, if you look at him, he's going to continue to work out. He's going to become a monster. You just watch. He is going to be a big old body down low who's going to be able to bang, race shots when defenders mess up. I don't ever see him being a double-double machine scoring like Precious did or being like a Wiseman, but I see him being a defensive focus. So if Lester Quinones can find that shot, if Boogie Ellis can turn into the ball player that everybody expected him when he went to Duke and then came to the University of Memphis, if DJ Jeffries comes back to being DJ Jeffries, Alo becomes the veteran point guard that you need, I honestly think there are still enough pieces for them to be damn effective in the American.
That's where we are. That's a lot of ifs, though.
Dude, there's a lot of ifs when it
ifs.
comes to sports. You had the number one recruiting class last year, and it didn't work out. If this worked out, if that. I mean, you never know. I mean, you look at college basketball, the teams that are winning are usually a little bit more experienced. They come almost out of the dark sometimes, and sometimes when you least expect it, you might have your best year. And if this team will come together, play as a team, you know how good they were defensively?
They were great
if
defensively.
If they can take that defensive intensity and figure out how to put the damn ball in the hole, they're going to be good.
Put the ball in the hole, stop turning it over. And
that's an understatement. The turnovers were so bad that, I mean, if you have 20 turnovers a game, you're just it's over. It doesn't matter.
You can't win having 20 turnovers a game. You can't.
I don't care how damn good at putting the ball in the hole or defensively you are.
And they weren't great putting it into the hole. Like Lester was supposed to come in and be a shooter, and he was around 30% from three last year. Alex Lomax was supposed to have complete control of the offense, I thought. And he had how many turnovers per game? They had how many 20-plus turnover games? Those are things that need to get fixed. And it's a whole lot easier to fix those things when you have somebody like Tyler Harris on the squad who can space the floor, I would think. Now, Tyler Harris had his struggles. You brought up the fact Tyler was...
Like, literally, Boogie Ellis, Tyler Harris, Damian Ball, it's like, 2.1 turnovers, 1.7, 1.5. Those are just those three, and I haven't even brought up Alo.
I mean,
when everybody and their grandmother's averaging about 2 turnovers a game,
not
that is not good.
Especially when they're your guards, because the guards initiate the offense. And that means that you can't get your offense initiated. You can't get the start of your offense right. And then you factor in the turnovers on fast breaks. I can't tell you how many times fast break opportunities, the ball is in the stands or the ball is trickling out of bounds. Just bad passes.
Alo had 2.5 turnovers a game last year. So, that just, again, turnovers were a disaster.
And I would think that Tyler would help some because of his ability to space the court and space the floor and create open lanes for passers and for playmakers. But again, Tyler Harris, like you brought up, was a defensive liability in some games because people would just run a weave and make Tyler Harris switch onto a much larger player, and they would try and take advantage of that. With that being said, this team was still very good defensively with Tyler Harris. They weren't as good with Tyler Harris on the court, but they were still best field goal percentage defense in college basketball.
Pretty dead-gum sure.
They were close and three-point defense as well. This was a stout defensive team, even with the liability that Tyler Harris presented. Also, Tyler Harris and the shot selections at times really got under people's skin as he pulls up from 28 feet with 30 seconds left on the shot clock or something like that. Sometimes I can get it. But
Lance
that's what
Thomas,
do.
by the way, he's going to be another guy that I just thought reminded me. I mean, do you remember he was stroking some threes? He's another big 6'9", 230-pound man. He's going to be a junior next year. He's I think he's going to. I mean, Lance Thomas. You're going to have, Malcolm Dandridge. They're going to have to be the beast down low. We lost Isaiah Maurice. We're going to lose Precious Achua. I'm pretty dead gum sure. I don't see any other big bodies that I know of. So Lance, Thomas, Malcolm, they're going to have to play huge. And then again, like I said, DJ and Lester and Alo and Boogie, and Damian Ball are going to have to be. They're going to have to be what everybody expected them to be when they came out of high school.
If Lance Thomas, because Lance had that nice run where he was knocking down threes pretty consistent.
Dude, he had a game where he was stroking.
And that was a part of like a 4 or 5 game stretch.
Then he went colder than ice.
3-game stretch where from Central Florida, UConn, Temple, Lance was, 9 for 15 from 3? And if he can consistently shoot the 3, that's somebody who gives you that spacing that you would need to make sure that you can't just pack the paint and dare Alex Lomax and others to drive into the teeth of your defense. If he can do that, then sure, the Tigers are going to be in a much better spot. And you're right, that is what this team is going to need, as I don't see any help on the horizon coming from the recruiting ranks.
Don't you see, could you see an office where you got, Damian Ball and DJ Jeffries and, Lester Quinones sitting out there to shoot the, 3, Damian Ball and Boogie Ellis driving to the rack, kicking it out open to a Lester Quinones or dropping it down, or kicking out to a Lance Thomas or dropping it down to a Dandridge or whatever. Like, I can see those guys playing pretty good basketball.
Yes.
Now, I could be just,
yes.
Again, I have blue color glasses on. I ain't going to lie.
I can see it work, and I can see it not work also. If it all doesn't hit the way that you need it to hit, I can see it being much like this year. Minus
Trust me, that's what she
somebody
said.
like Precious Achiuwa. You get on my nerves. They are in the running for that Virginia transfer. Landers.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
But, yeah, so they're in the running for him. And so if they can get a player like that, that certainly helps them. He is a graduate transfer. That gives you another bit of experience on top of this roster.
Landers.
Okay. So,
how did I forget Mr. Landers?
I don't know.
Man.
So that is something that could help. They'd have to hit on that. And then the Brown kid, they'd have to get him also. And I don't know if he helps space the floor enough, because we've seen that with the three-point line taking a step back further with these high school players. I think that has something to do with some of these shooting struggles from the Memphis Tigers this past season. That extra, 6 inches or whatever, 6 inches make a big difference, man. And that is why some of these shots, some of these players who we thought were scorers, Boogie and shooters, Lester, struggled some this year. But again, it could all work if everything hits perfectly for Penny Hardaway. The issue is, I don't know who's had worse luck than Coach Hardaway. When you factor in the James Wiseman situation, Lester Quinones going out early in the season with a broke hand, the flu that ran through the Tigers locker room, that Georgia and Wichita State week. Then you factor in on top of that the fact that the player that you were in on, the player Green, who's one of the top players in the nation, and a top player according to ESPN in the nation, and you thought, okay, we've got a real good shot at getting him, tells you, hey, if I didn't decide to go to this G League route, I'd be coming to Memphis, but I'm going to go the G League route. You factor that in on top of it. He's due for some good luck, ain't he? He's got to get some good luck one of these days here real soon. We got more to come. Don't you dare touch that dial. We're going to continue talking about Tigers basketball, and then we'll get into this Jordan documentary, and we'll talk about that. We're also going to spin the wheel in the next segment, so you don't want to miss it. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
This is Peter Edmiston from Sports 56 Mornings. During this coronavirus pandemic, all of us at Sports 56 urge you to please stay home, practice social distancing, and wash your hands often. While you're home, stay connected with Sports 56. Turn us on your radio, phone, computer, or smart speaker and stay up to date and connected. This is a tough time for everyone, but we will get through it if we all do our part. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected with Sports 56 and sports56whbq.com.
Please listen. This is important. Anyone can be affected by the prescription opioid crisis. If you think you've been hurt by Purdue or its prescription opioids like OxyContin, you may be entitled to compensation as part of Purdue's bankruptcy, but you have to file a claim. Claims may include overdose, death, substance use disorder, lost wages, and neonatal abstinence syndrome. A confidential claim can be filed by individuals, a legal guardian, by survivors or relatives of people who have died or are disabled. The deadline to file a claim is June 30th, 2020, or you will lose your right to file a claim. For more information, visit PurduePharmaClaims.com, or you can call toll-free 1-844-217-0912. That's 1-844-217-0912. Paid for by Prime Clerk, LLC.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and C.J.
Welcome back in, everybody. Sports 56 Mornings as we try and figure out what the
hell
is
going on. Man, I'm about to cry.
On.
I got Grateful Dead music all tuned up and nothing's coming out.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening to us. We talked a lot of Tigers basketball. Landers Noli is not a grad transfer. He was a redshirt freshman last year. Thank you. I'm sorry for the mistake. I appreciate it. Thank you, text on the First Bank text line. Guys, be a part of the show. Text in 67129.
But he's a top transfer. What did you? I don't know. What did you say wrong?
I said grad transfer.
Oh, grad. No, he was
transfer.
freshman. Yeah, he was.
He was
he was a all ACC freshman selection, I believe. Or he was honorable mention, maybe.
Yeah. So thank you for that, texter. I'm sorry I misspoke. I appreciate it. We got great texters. We're gonna
we
talk
do.
Some,
yeah, we do.
We're gonna talk something about that Michael Jordan documentary in the next segment. You guys, feel free to be a part of the show. Text in 67129. Let me know what stood out to you in the documentary. Who is the most villainous rap scandal? Is that a word? I'm making a word.
What'd you call it? Rascal?
Rap scandal.
What's a rap scandal?
I don't know. I'm making it a word, though. Who's the most rap scandalous person in the documentary?
I don't know, because I don't know what that means.
Who's the bad guy so far in the doc? What surprised you the most about this? About the 30 for 30? Well, it is a 30
I'm
for
going
30.
To watch it.
Yeah.
Is it a 30 for 30?
I think so. I think we're counting it as a 30 for 30, much like we count O.J. Simpson as the Made in America, the 30
I was
for 30.
mad because I didn't get to see Steve Kerr talk because I had to leave this morning. Right when he was coming on, I had to bounce, man. So I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Go check it out. The first two episodes talk about the start of the Jordan run. Jordan going for 62 in the Garden against the eventual champions, Boston Celtics, and making it look easy. No threes, 62 points on no threes. Come on, man. Come on. So definitely go check that out. Or don't go. Well, you go check it out, John. If you want to talk about it, please text in. We've got a texter texting in right now. We will get to those texts when we get to that conversation in the next segment. Now's the time, though, John. Let's spin this conversation wheel.
Let's spin that wheel, baby.
On the wheel, we've got, of course, calls Zach. That's going to just stay on there. We got things like Mystical Pet, Monster
Dude, see,
Fight.
I wanted to play dude, and it won't play.
We've got one in there. We've got wheel music.
No, I mean, nothing is coming out of this pot.
I got you. I have no idea what's going on over there. As we spin the wheel of conversation, remember, we get to this in the 8:30 segment, and it has landed on, how fitting a conversation to have. Right after we finish the Bulls documentary conversation, where we talk about what was going on with the Bulls and that team chemistry and how people were trying to break it up for whatever reason, we'll talk about which sports team would you most like to be a part of?
Definitely not the Houston Astros in 2017.
Don't say anything.
Hey, I'm telling you the opposite.
We'll talk about it We'll talk about it in the 8:30 segment of the show. You guys can text in and let us know which team you'd most like to be a part of, past, present, whatever. Let us know on the First Bank text line. John, we were talking a lot about Penny Hardaway and the Tigers, especially around the decision Tyler Harris has made to transfer. What school do you think makes sense for somebody like a Tyler Harris? He's still got 2 years of eligibility. One of those years is going to be redshirt, so I'm not going to count that because he's a true sophomore, so he can redshirt, be a redshirt junior, and get 2 more years of eligibility at the collegiate level. And I think this is a guy who really wants reps, needs consistent reps, consistent playing time, so that he can show what he can do at the next level. All right? And so for me, I'm thinking Tyler Harris maybe takes a step and looks at one of these Conference USA schools, one of these schools that's going to allow him to not only play, but play and shine and grow and develop. We've seen good players come from that tier of college. We've seen good players come from the OVC. John Moran immediately comes to mind. We've seen what Dame Lillard and what C.J. McCollum and Davidson with Steph Curry, what they were able to do, how they were able to grow and develop playing at that level. I think that's something that Tyler Harris should look into and be interested in, because he's not going to get a chance to get a bunch of minutes and showcase what he can do and really grow and develop if he's playing at one of these higher level basketball programs.
Ole Miss offered him a scholarship coming out of high school.
Ole Miss did that.
Do you think there's any chance that they look at him?
Absolutely.
Maybe Baylor, because they offered him one too, and Iowa State.
I think Iowa State may have. But I think if I'm Tyler, I want to go to a place where after playing at a place where I had to compete for time and reps.
Oh, you want to be the guy with the ball in your hand.
You want to get more of those touches, more of those reps, and get more of a rhythm going because you are a shooter. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense for him to leave Memphis and go to Ole Miss unless there is an understanding that, hey, you're going to get a lot of minutes. You're going to get a lot of opportunities to make plays for us offensively. And that is what I don't know. Also, Tyler Harris was a defensive liability. And while the Tigers, it didn't hurt them tremendously, everybody's not built like this Tigers team was built this past season. And everybody's not as good defensively as they are. That's clearly by them being the best field goal percentage team in the nation. So I wonder where Tyler Harris ends up going. I do. We do wish him nothing but the best. We got more to come on the other side. We're going to talk some about this Bulls documentary, Last Dance, on the other side. Don't you dare touch that dial. You're listening to Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
To yours, Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Eat well and stay healthy with Sweetgrass Next Door's to-go and delivery service. From shrimp and grits to pork chops to chocolate chip cookies and more, feed your need. Located in the heart of Cooper Young Midtown, Sweetgrass Next Door makes for an easy to-go, pickup, and delivers to all of Midtown, most of downtown, and even East Memphis locations. For more information, visit online at sweetgrassmemphis.com or call 901-278-0278 to place your order today.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me Saturdays 8 to 9 a.m. for Sidelines here on Sports 56 WHBQ, 87.7 FM and 96.1. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, and your favorite team. Give us a call. That's Sidelines, Saturday mornings 8 to 9 a.m. Sidelines is presented by Duncan Williams Asset Management. So get up and give us a call.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hurt. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com. Here once again are Peter and C.J.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back in. Welcome back in.
Do you want me to sing?
Yeah, sing for him, John. I need you to get that door before you start singing so we make sure that it sounds beautiful because I know you got some real docile tones over there. Hit them with a note.
I think I need to do a little Bob Dylan, because I can almost sound like Bob, right?
I don't know what Bob Dylan sounds like, but go ahead.
Ain't no use to saying wonder why, babe.
Welcome back. Welcome back in, everybody. We talked a lot of Tigers basketball in the first hour of the show. We're going to shift gears some and discuss one of the bright spots in a sports world that is void of bright spots right now. The Last Dance documentary.
It's so void of excitement. They're having a Madden tournament. Did you see that?
No, who's going to be in it?
Dude, all I know is they say celebrities in the Madden tournament starting today at noon.
Oh, okay, noon.
And then they have like a championship game, I believe, like in the the end of this month or something.
I saw. I feel like Barstool did a college football season, and people got really worked up and really into it on the Twitter, and that is what we're doing. Virtual sports, old sports highlights, sports stories, this documentary, and that is it. That is it. And so this is The Last Dance, of course, John. You know, being somebody who lived through that era and was aware.
Yeah, Last Dance.
Aware.
Last Dance.
What's up? What?
You talking about the 70s and no, never mind.
No,
You're not
I'm
disco.
talking about the documentary.
I know.
Man.
I'm just
Good
playing.
grief, my gosh. You said you were gonna wait till 9:56. So it was really good, and it really showcased a lot of the things that we forget about looking back on it. How these stories were really, really big at the time, but now they aren't, because they get lost in the memories of everything that has happened. One of the things texters have already texted in on the First Bank text line. You can too, 67129. Texas says Pippen was way underpaid. That was the biggest takeaway for me, was how Jerry Krause and that Bulls management team did Scottie Pippen, and the fact that Scottie had to go out there and to try and get paid. Just, you know what, you're not gonna pay me, fine, I'll delay this foot surgery till right at the start of the season. And so that is one thing that stood out to me. The Bulls always had a big man, and sometimes he was the unknown hero. That was something that stood out to this texter. Thank you, texters, for texting in on the First Bank text line. I can't believe the fact that Scottie was treated how Scottie was. This is a top 50 player all time. This is somebody who you need out there to help win you championships. And Krause was like, no, we're not going to pay him. No, we're just going to be cheap. Not going to pay him. We don't need him. Organizations win championships, not individuals. And guess what? You look up and you see that the Bulls have 6 championships. All 6 of them came with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan as that dynamic duo, that 1-2 punch. And they don't have anything outside of that. That is it. So that statement is super false. I can't imagine. One of the things that also stood out to me, John, the way that stars were treated in the 80s and 90s. Like, I can't imagine a star player like Michael Jordan. Like, who would be like a comp? Just one of the greatest players of their generation, like James Harden, LeBron James.
You know,
like
Wilt.
that type. No, I'm talking about right now.
Like right now,
Right
it's
now.
only LeBron, and I don't even think he's there.
I'm talking about just a player who is great in his generation, because that's what Jordan was. Jordan was not only an all-time great, obviously, arguably the greatest ever, clearly, but he was just great in his time, great for his era. I can't imagine a player who is great for their era having this type of friction with the general manager. That is something that really, really surprised me.
Except for Antonio Brown.
I can't imagine a player
In the NBA.
who is of sound mind not having
Good
this type
point.
Not this type of issue. And it's especially, you bring up the NBA, especially in the NBA where star players have so much say in what happens.
They
Where
really do.
Right now, teams run ideas by the star player. Like, who would you like to be?
Kawhi forced himself out of, San Antonio, goes and gets the chip, in Toronto.
LeBron
then,
James
comes
in
out to
Cleveland
L.A. with the
had-
Clippers.
LeBron James Cleveland had issues with black.
Goes down to Miami with the super team, yeah.
He had issues with black Cavs said, you know what? Cool. We'll get rid of him. Who you want? Ty Lue? We can make that work. Ty Lue, you got a relationship with LeBron? Cool. We can make that work. We can go about doing that in that way. And the rules of the game back then were no. You're not getting any of this. I'm in control. I'm the general manager. I'm the owner. I don't care how big a star you are. I don't care what you've done. Go ahead.
Is there any chance this documentary actually helps somebody? And that person I'm talking about is Phil Jackson, because he was looked at as the greatest of the greats. Phil won all those championships with 11. The Bulls. Then he goes and he takes Kobe and Shaq, and they can't win. And then he comes out there and he gets those chips out there. Add a couple, 3 more.
That's 9.
Phil is the man.
Now wait,
and
don't forget the 2 he got with Kobe and Powell.
Yeah. Oh
okay.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is we forget about the greatness. Mm-hmm. You even forget about him, even in LA, in some aspects, because of the stank of New York, which is still on him. And I'm wondering, is there any chance that maybe this documentary can get some of that New York stink off of him?
Yes, it can absolutely do that. And that's another one of those things that we're about to see more of Phil. And that is good, because remember, before Phil got there, Jordan hadn't won either. And we talked about it some Friday, Peter and I did, that fire ice was necessary, that yin yang was so necessary for Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, that Michael Jordan needed a coach who could come in and cool everybody off a little bit after he's been getting after it and getting after them and yelling at them because he was so driven, competitively speaking, and because he was somebody who could be overbearing and really grate on your on your personality and on you and make it less fun and more work. They needed a Phil Jackson. That team with Michael Jackson, all of those teams needed a coach like Phil to come in and cool that off some. Kobe Bryant and Shaq were the same way, especially Kobe, who was mini Michael Jordan. They needed a coach like Phil to come in and be the ice to their fire. Now, you go to New York, and you're a general manager now, and you are the stud player on your team, the star on your team is Carmelo Anthony. Well, Melo needs some fire. That's just his personality. These are personality traits, not saying that Melo isn't competitive or Melo doesn't want to win, not saying that a player like Tim Duncan isn't competitive, doesn't want to win. Kawhi Leonard, another one of those just cool, calm, collected guys. They need somebody out there getting after it some, verbally, and somebody out there who's going to be intense. And Phil Jackson in New York wasn't that. And so Phil had a team in New York that was led by Carmelo, and they ended up getting Kristaps Porzingis as well. And then just some of the things Phil was saying really didn't mesh well with the market, talking about trading Kristaps like year 2, and all of that sort of stuff. And it does, like you said, it did taint his legacy. It did. The people who were quieter about Phil only won because he had Michael Jordan and Kobe and Shaq, they got louder. And you forget how good Phil Jackson was at pushing the right buttons and getting everybody in the right spots. And he was able to do that while, again, I asked the rapscallion, which is definitely a word I just made up, is Jerry Krause. Like that's the bad guy. All of these great documentaries, and I've been watching a lot of these docuseries when Tiger King, John McMillions. Check out that one. McMillions also.
Watch the first 2. Does it get a little more exciting because the dude who loves himself so much, like he thinks he's the greatest.
That FBI
agent, the FBI agent, he loves him some him.
Yes, he does.
I have never seen a more arrogant FBI agent. Like, I didn't even know you could be in the FBI and have big of a chip on your shoulder.
He makes a pretty big mistake. And so you end up laughing at him.
Okay, good.
Towards the end. But they all have the bad guy. And depending on your viewpoint, some of them, Tiger King has multiple bad guys. Like, just everybody in that is bad. But there's always that one. Like, aha, that is the person. That is the bad guy. And the bad guy so far isn't an opponent, isn't a particular player. Well, you think the bad boys Pistons would rear their ugly head for a little bit, and they do. But the bad guy is Jerry Krause. And Jerry Krause is just like, hey, we're gonna rebuild. They almost, John, I didn't know this. This is one of the things that stood out to me. They almost let Phil Jackson go, and Michael Jordan almost retired before that season. Like, that's something I did not know. And that's something that I think a lot of people forgot. That's how contentious that relationship was, not only between Krause and Phil, but Krause and everybody. Nobody liked this dude. And he was just there, arrogant, cocky. Again, organizations win championships, not players. And you think about the fact that organization hadn't won a championship before Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, and didn't win one after him, or haven't won after him. It's like, yo, what is this guy on?
Like, what does he got to do?
I can't imagine him as a GM in this climate.
He couldn't be one.
No.
But do you want to know one thing that's driving me crazy? And I have to mention this because it's about to literally make me go bananas. I love you, texters. 67129, keep them coming. And I love you on Twitter, too. Johnny_radio. But all these people saying, man, this made me realize Jordan had better teammates than LeBron. I pulled it up to make sure I wasn't on drugs.
Okay, wait.
Number
can I
one,
interrupt you? No, let me. Oh, wait. Huh?
Yes, I'm reading that. He
had Scotty. He had Dennis.
He had Scotty, Dennis, and then it has
Tony
Horace
Kukoc?
Grant as his third best player, John Paxton as his fourth, B.J. Armstrong as his fifth.
I forgot about B.J.
Tony Kukoc is his sixth. Oakley is his seventh, and then Stacey King as his eighth, and that's as high as it goes. LeBron goes to 25 players. By the way, just so you know, LeBron has played with more number one overall picks than anybody also in basketball. I mean, dude has played literally alongside of even like Shaq and stuff, but like just think about this. Dwayne Wade, Anthony Davis, Chris Bosh, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Ray Allen, Mo Williams, Shane, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, Mario Chalmers, Carlos Boozer, Udonis Haslem. Again, played with Derrick Rose, Dwight Howard, Joe Smith, and Shaq. I mean, again, like literally, like dude's played with everybody and their grandmother because he changes more teams than anybody, and he basically handpicks who he wants. Mike Miller, I didn't even mention him until just now. Danny Green. Dude's played with some men.
I don't get that take at all. They
literally don't get that take
lineup.
at all.
They showed the Bulls lineup. That opening game, that 97-98 season, the year Scottie Pippen decided he was going to postpone his foot surgery, so he'd miss some games early in the year because Krause had made him so upset with the contract negotiations. It was Michael, it was Dennis Rodman, and then it was just a bunch of dudes.
Somebody just reminded me,
just a bunch of random players.
Ilgauskas back in the day with the Cavs. I forgot about him.
For LeBron James teammates, and it was Michael, it was Dennis Rodman, and Tony Kukoc, and Luke Longley, and Ron Harper.
Stop making me laugh.
It was just like, whoa! I didn't realize that this is what was going on. It does certainly help that you have another top 50 player all time in Scottie Pippen on that roster. Don't get me wrong. But when Scottie isn't playing, like he wasn't at the start of the year, Michael Jordan had to carry them. And before
they
Scottie
didn't have anything else, yeah.
Before Scottie got to the Bulls, Michael Jordan had to carry that team in these playoff matchups. He had to. That's why he had to go out there and go for 62 in the Garden in the playoffs? Who the hell else did you want to shoot the ball? What were your other offensive options?
My man, Lil Van Gundy, not the porn star Stan. What's his brother? Mike. Jeff. Man, why am I going? I keep wanting to call him like Stan Van Jeremy, but no, it's Jeff Van Gundy. Did you hear him say Michael would have averaged like 42 points or whatever in this era because of the way, the hand check?
Yeah.
It was a lot more physical, and people do forget that. But I thought this was also a great text on a little bit of a different subject. You were kind of talking about this. I think this is a great text. I think it was complete BS that the GM made it known that last year, after number 6, was one that it was going to be the last year. That was I didn't see it. if he came out and basically did say that,
he wanted it. He wanted to start a rebuild 97, 98. Yeah, that is Jerry Krause, man. When you watch it, you're just going to scratch your head. Jerry Krause comes out looking terrible, especially when you factor in the fact, take into consideration that they won a championship 97, 98. He wanted to blow it up and start the rebuild. He wanted to get ahead of the rebuild. And it makes you wonder. I saw some of these thoughts circulating. I was wondering this also. If Krause wasn't so adamant about starting a rebuild, does Michael Jordan retire? No.
You know what? I don't think so.
He feel, Scotty, they run it back one more time. And when do they lose the mojo? When does it all begin to fizzle out? What does that look like with all of them towards the end of their tenures as Bulls together? Like, when does it happen? What does it look like? Could they have gotten another championship? Could they have?
Yep.
I don't.
After Mike was gone, remember, it was like who's going to carry this torch for a minute?
Yeah, I get that as a GM, you have to think about the future of the franchise and the future players and the future assets that you get, which is why it makes organizations and franchises like what the Spurs were able to do that, 20-year stretch? In the from the late 90s
what Pop
to now,
did when he had the end
remarkable.
the beginning of Tim Duncan and the Twin Towers with David Robinson on to where it was Tony Parker and, Manu and just, an older Tim A and then the Kawhi when he was playing mad defense. I mean, just the way they reinvented themselves constantly and just kept winning, that is just something I don't think we'll ever see again.
And that is why that is so remarkable. Because as a general manager, you've got to find a way, okay, we're really good now. How do we stay good? What can we do? How do we get better? And Krause's whole thing was, no, we'll just blow it up. We got 5. Let's just end it. We'll blow it up. We'll end it. We'll get in the draft. We'll grab some young pieces, and we'll be back in a couple of years. And no, that's not how it has to go. And you end up ruining yourself in a way if you bank on just losing a bunch of games. You end up in NBA purgatory. Ask the Kings about that. Ask the Suns about that. Who's another one in purgatory right now? The Timberwolves. Ask them about that.
Dude, they can't even get a playoff win, period.
They can't get to the playoffs.
Dude, they had KG, couldn't get there. They've had Big Cat Anthony, can't get there. They bring over, they bring in a defensive-minded coach. They bring in everything. You bring, Jimmy Butler to add to that team. No matter what Minnesota does, I don't know what it is about that organization. They are snake-bitten.
And the Bulls, with
By the
Krause,
way,
it is leadership. It is who's the one making the decisions, and what is his mindset or her mindset, and what is the mentality of the organization.
See, I don't know about – I think it was more of Michael that just did it. Like Krause, I don't even want to give that man credit. He just was lucky that he had an MJ and somebody as strong a personality in that, and he had Phil Jackson. Because I want you to think about this. And there was a texter that just said, think about the East he had to go through. And just go back to the 91 season. They had to go through Patrick Ewing's in the very first round, the New York Knicks. Mm-hmm. Then you had to go through the 76ers. That was Charles Barkley's team. Then you had to go and beat that bad boy Pistons team. And then I think they played, the Celtics in the championship in their first one? Maybe? Yeah.
Was that the Lakers? Was the first one the Lakers or the Trailblazers?
I can't remember. The point is, the East is all I'm trying to say is because people are hitting me with the LeBron point. LeBron made it, yes. I got hit. He literally, I said, had a condo in the finals. But the East that LeBron went through was not comparable to the East that Jordan went through to get to the finals. And he also got 6 chips and did not lose once they started winning. Like, LeBron went through a beast of an East. I mean, Michael Jordan went through a beast of an East. LeBron just basically blew through. Whew.
I wonder what it would look like if they had to let them keep running it back. And Jordan said, if you win your
they beat the Lakers in the first round. You're in the first championship.
The first championship. Okay.
And the Lakers beat the Celtics.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a stretch there going to that point before I get to my other thought.
A few years before that.
Where the 80s were Lakers, Celtics, Pistons. And then right after the Pistons comes that Bulls three-peat. Now, my question, though, is what would it look like if they kept it going? Because I think that was clearly the end of the peak for Jordan's Bulls, for Jordan, Scottie Pippen, that incarnation of the Bulls. Would they have, on their way down, though, were they so much better than everybody else that on their way down, they could still sneak into an NBA Finals, still get a championship out of it?
All right, I looked it up to make sure I wasn't crazy because, again, I had that, the 1987 Lakers and Celtics finals in my brain. And you go back to those Pat Riley years and the Phil Jackson and all that stuff kind of runs in to, with each other.
And coaches.
At least because it was my childhood. So you kind of remember it like that. But those, think about the Boston Celtics and those Lakers team. And then you had those Pistons teams, and then the Bulls teams came in, and these are real deal Holyfield championships that are whoa. The Spurs came in that first one they got with the Twin Towers. I don't know. After the Bulls, I'm glad they got it. But then you got to remember, then that was the Phil Jackson. He leaves the Bulls, and then he goes over there and gets the 3 with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of that was the Phil Jackson era. I think people all forget about him getting those 9 chips real quickly, and then of course he got lost to the Pistons when they were at the Lakers. Then he got a couple more with Powell in 2007, 2008.
I think 07, 08, 09, 10.
So Phil has got 11 rings, but this is what I'm at. This is what I'm trying to bring back. How fast we forgot that in 2010, it was just 2010 that he won a chip with the Lakers, and then when he went to New York. Everybody forgot Phil Jackson was even a stud in the National Basketball Association.
Because time changed. And his way of doing things was no longer the way. That offense that he wanted to run, that triangle offense.
The triangle offense was
no
out.
longer
the dribble drive, the pace and space.
We were spreading it out, and we were beginning to move further and further back. And Phil Jackson fought that. And as a general manager, that hurts you. Going back to the conversation we were having about general managers, that hurts you when you aren't willing to adapt to the times, when you get stuck in your own way of doing things. My way is good. My way has brought me so much success over the years. There's no reason to change it, no reason to tweak it. And that is not necessarily the case. Not necessarily the case. That is not the case. That is why what the Spurs have managed to do, they've grown and they've changed with the game as a franchise, as an organization. And they didn't have to blow it up. They didn't say, hey, you know what? We got, 3 with Tim? It's time to move on. It's time to switch it up. No, they were like, okay, we got 3 with Tim. Tim is a different player now. They acknowledged that. They saw that. And then they said, we're going to change the way we play. We're going to put different players, more playmakers around Tim Duncan. More guards who can create their own shots, the Manu Ginobili's, the Tony Parkers. We're going to put that around Tim Duncan, and we're going to continue to ride this thing on out. And then it is, hey, we're going to hit on a guy. We don't know when, but we are going to hit on him. They hit on that Kawhi Leonard pick, which was outside of the lottery, if I'm not mistaken. So they hit on that, and they saw potential in him, and they grew that, and they developed that into a player that they can use to get them back to an NBA Finals and to win an NBA Finals when he was there. That is how you have to be. You have to be real flexible and critically thinking as a general manager. It can't be, things are good now.
Pop's got 5. He would have had 6 without Ray Allen hitting that shot.
It can't be, hey, you know what? We're good now, but let's tear it all down. That's the only way to build. No, you have to acknowledge that, hey, you know what? Jordan is a different player than he was. What pieces can we put around him, though, to keep him successful? And Krause just did not want to have that thought, did not want to have that conversation, did not want to do those things. He wanted to just tear it down. He was picking at Phil. He was on Jordan's nerves. He was on Scottie Pippen's nerves. You can't be on the 3 best people in your organization's nerves like that, man. Instead of saying, hey, what can I do to help you? What type of player are you trying to age into? What type of player are you going to be next year and the year after that? So I know what type of players we need to go out there and get. Kraft's like, no, tear it down, blow it up. That is so lazy from a general manager. And the Bulls have not been near as successful after that 97-98 season. We got more to get to on the other side. We're going to talk some about which sports team you'd most like to be a part of. Text in. Be a part of the show. 67129. 67129 on the First Bank text line. Call in 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines. Got that coming up and more. Don't you dare touch that dial. Happy 420, everybody.
Didn't get to sleep that night till the morning came around. Set out to run, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I'm Dr. George Flynn, president of Flynn Broadcasting. On behalf of everyone associated with Flynn Broadcasting, we want to wish you good health, especially in this coronavirus situation. You can be the hero. All you have to do is practice social distancing. That's right, 6 feet away from other people, and you'll be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Also, if you feel ill and have a cough or fever, get tested so you'll know if you have coronavirus or not. I'm Dr. George Flynn with Flynn Broadcasting. We'll keep you connected while you maintain your physical social distance. So keep listening to this Flynn Broadcasting station, because we're in this fight with you, and we're going to help you stay connected.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hurt. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com. Here once again are Peter and C.J.
Welcome back. Sports 56 Mornings. Peter and CJ right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 961-87-7. Be a part of the show. Text in 67129 on the First Bank text line. Give us a call, 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines as well. We spun the wheel, and it landed on an interesting topic. Team you'd most want to be a part of. Team that you would most want to be a part of. And for me, it's there are some fun ones out there that come to mind. Being a part of that Running Rebels team, that UNLV team, immediately came to mind. Phi Slamma Jamma, they seemed like they were having fun. I need to be on a team that is really successful and having a bunch of fun in the process. So that pretty much eliminates the Patriots dynasty because they're not having fun. They're just out there winning, which is great. I love that. Do you keep getting championships? But that winning alone is not fun. I need players with personalities. I need coaches with personalities. And I need to not only win, but have fun doing it. Also, couple of fun stories from the locker room wouldn't hurt anything either. But the Cowboys with that Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith Cowboy run that they went on in the mid 90s. That is something that certainly intrigues me. But for me, team I most like to be a part of, the 2001 Miami Hurricane football team. That team was just loaded, and they were so good, and they were so much better than everybody else. When you think about Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, those are your running backs on that team. Throwing Ken Dorsey as well. You've got great stories, great personalities. Jeremy Shockey and Clinton Portis, you know those are really big personalities out there. So, of course, you want to be a part of them. Vince Wilfork, forgot he was out there. He was on that team. Another big personality, just another really good player. Ed Reed was the senior leader on that team. So, yeah, you hear the stories coming from Miami around that time, and it's hard for me to, I guess, envision not wanting to be a part of that. That is fun. They tell the story about getting into the fight with the Florida football team before I do believe the Sugar Bowl in the strip club. Like, yes, yep, that seems like some fun. And then they go out and they demolish that team. Also, I think that was the year before that national championship season. So, yeah, for me, that's the team I'd most like to be a part of. John, what about you?
Easy as can be. The 86 Mets, baby. Nobody partied like the 86 Mets. Have you ever heard about Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden getting
that was
down?
That team.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. They had girls in the locker rooms. They were hitting yayo like it was going out of style. Like, man, they were gambling, partying, drinking, doing it all, man. And they were doing it all with a swagger and just... Dude, Ron Darley, Sid Fernandez. Dude, don't even get me started. 86 Mets all the way. The Doc. Strawberry. You know how much fun that would be?
When we all like winning. We also like having fun.
No team had more fun than that team, I think. They were cool. Guzzling booze and winning games, dugout, baby. Yeah.
In the dugout. Like, come on. You know after a big game in Miami, you know where you're going? You're going to South Beach somewhere to party, and you're a Miami football player. You get in anywhere.
There's a story, and I don't know how true it is, but, like, there's a picture from that season, like, in 86 Met, like, one of their players basically, like, sticks out his tongue, and they're like, did he have LSD on his tongue?
Probably.
Like, wouldn't be surprising with the bad guys
Probably.
who won the whole thing.
Probably. Catch that door for me, John. And it's interesting. Everybody has their own way of gauging success. And we've seen this complaint come out of New England before, that they are just so focused on winning. Belichick and Brady were so focused on winning. It took away from some of the fun that went into playing football for some of these guys. And, yes, you want to win, but you also want to enjoy going to work every day. You want to enjoy being around your teammates and being around the organization. Texter texted in and said the 85 Bears. That's the Super Bowl Shuffle Bears, ain't it? That would be a fun team to be a part of.
Hey, they had Refrigerator Perry and Walter Payton, and you had crazy Jim McMahon. Yes, Dan Hampton. That would have been a fun team.
You had the AAF legend, Mike Singletary.
You had Mike playing middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Yes, but here's what I wanted to ask you, and I love how you said AAF. I'm sorry. Is it AF? Is it AAF?
I think
Alliance of American. Yeah,
I
forgot it. I had to check on you. But I found a quote, and I just wanted to read this to you because I thought this was great. This was published back in '86 after they won the World Series, and it says. The only thing, for the diehard Mets fans looking for a glimmer of hope, there is, and this is after they stare down the thing. This team, blah, 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 came back to win. That's the only thing this year's Mets model shares with their 80s brethren, a gang of drunks, pill poppers, barroom brawlers, degenerate gamblers, womanizers, and arrogant blowhards who did more blow and still managed to win the hearts of New Yorkers, but were loathed by the rest of baseball, loved by the world.
Okay.
That sounds like some fun.
That is real intense.
That was intense.
Could you keep up with that?
I think so. When I was younger, like right now, maybe not. But if I can get a time machine and go back, yeah.
Another good one, the Showtime Lakers. The Showtime Lakers were really good, multiple championships, played a fun style of basketball running up and down the court.
Magic made things look so much fun.
And they were getting it in the locker room. Like they halftime where, hey, get her up there and tell her to meet me down here. Like that was what they were getting into. That is what they were about, how they were living. Which, hey, that seems like some fun for some people. Be a multimillionaire, playing on a winning team, get cute ladies all the time. Yep, sign me up for that also. That just seems like it's something that would be super fun. And then this, as great as that Bulls run was, especially that second three-peat after Jordan comes back from the retirement, the baseball hiatus, we're beginning to see that last year was tough. It was not all fun and games, especially when you've got one of the people in charge on everybody's nerves, man, doing dumb stuff.
Dude, I got another funny one that I just wanted to read. The 86 Mets, the Porky's TV show. Remember 86 Porky's? Did you ever watch Porky's? It's a funny show from way back when, but it says Porky's looked closer to a documentary than something fake about the New York 86 Mets teams. If you haven't seen Porky's, oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
No, I haven't seen it. I'll put it on the list because guess
Old
what, John?
school TV is funny.
I got nothing but time on my hand. I can watch it. Sure, why not? Text it in. Kobe and Shaw Lakers.
Honestly, I've watched so many Kobe Bryant videos. I don't ever want to be on a team with Kobe.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fun. I'm thinking the text means Kobe and Shaq. I don't think that playing with Kobe is really, really fun. Sure, they are successful. Sure, they are in L.A. But is that fun to be on a team with somebody like a Kobe who is so competitive that he hogs the ball, he chastises you, he takes some of the fun away. I think Jordan is another one. Tom Brady. They are greats. Don't get me wrong. All-time greats, all of them in their own way.
The Tampa Bay team with, like, John Gruden.
Like, that
would have been fun with, like, because they had Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks. Like, they were mean on defense. They smacked the bleep out of you. John Lynch came up from the safety position and lights you up like a Christmas tree.
And you know they knew how to party.
And they had crazy Mike Allstott back then who could carry. Dude, I saw him at Purdue one day when I went up there. Dude was drinking his, like you know how you carry, like, a six-pack to a party?
Yeah.
He was carrying, like, a mini keg on his back and just drinking out of the keg.
So you know he knows how to party.
Dude knows how to throw it down.
You're good. You're having fun. You're teasing one another back and forth in the locker room. And you know how to party. Like, those are the things that matter most, I would think, to everybody. I can't imagine being on a team, though, with a Michael Jordan or somebody with that sort of mentality and what that would do. There's stories about Kobe Bryant. People are like, Kobe, you never hang out with us. Like, okay, I'm going to hang out. And then they hang out. They stay out till like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and Kobe has them up in the next 3 hours to go work out in the gym. Or somebody like...
Yeah, I ain't going back out with that dude.
What's my man's name? Luke Walton shows up to practice hungover, and Kobe's like, nah, I'm going to solve this. Guard me, and just gives him that work. That's not fun. I can't play with that guy. I don't want to play. I could. Like, winning championships is fun in its own way. But, like, that's not fun enough to... when I have all these other teams to choose from. Because they are partying, showing up hungover on various
You know
drugs,
what we didn't bring up?
and they're winning championships.
How can we not bring up Michael Irving, the
I brought it
Cowboys?
up
You
initially,
did?
the White House, yes.
I forgot.
Oh,
yeah, dude. Mike back in the day, those Cowboys got bucked.
Sign me up. People getting cut in the barbershop, sign me up. I am here. Not only cut with their hair, but like literally cut. I am here for it. Let's make that work. We got a caller on the First Bank phone lines. You guys be a part of the show. Call in 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines like my man Dan did. Dan, what's going on,
man?
What's
up, guys? I'm going to tell you a little known fact about the New York Mets. They wanted to move Darryl Strawberry from right field to center field because they didn't think he could play right field with that big white line going all the way behind.
Oh, my gosh, Dan. I didn't know where you were going. That was hilarious.
I'll tell you who the player on that team was, a guy named Kevin, and I can't think of his last name. He was a shortstop. They said he was the biggest ladies' man in New York.
Okay.
Keith Hernandez steadily smoking cigarettes in the dugout. But the biggest player of all time is Joe Theismann, man. I mean, not Joe Theismann, Joe Namath.
Mm.
Man, when he'd get picked up at the airport by a luxury limo with 2 girls in it, and the team had to get on the bus and go back to the hotel room, and Joe went to his penthouse, owned his own bar, wore a fur coat. He was a pimp, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. I just don't think it would be fun to play with that player. Because if I got to get on the bus and I'm looking and watching you rolling in a limo with all the ladies, I'm going to be a little jealous, Dan. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think he got sacked so much?
Dan, thanks for calling in, man. Take care.
All right, guys.
Dan calling in. That's how you do it on the First Bank phone lines.
Wally Backman? Is that who he's talking about, you think?
I think so. Maybe.
He had the big porn stash back in the day.
All of them did. It was the 80s.
Dude, it's true. Back then, if you look at a baseball card from back
80s.
then, it is hilarious. Like, the facial hair is out of control.
That, you brought up that Cowboys team with Irvin and Aikman.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Just one thing. Dan, we have to move him to center field because we don't know if he can play right field with that big white line. That was hilarious.
Who are you going to put in right field? Because from the stories I've heard about that Mets team, you couldn't put anybody over there with those white lines.
Yeah, they were all partying.
But one of the things that make that Cowboys team so interesting, and one of the things that makes them fun, is that Jerry Jones lets you get away with whatever you wanted to. So you got Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones-led Cowboys team with all of those personalities. You know there was some partying going on. You know that there was some cute ladies running in and out. They were America's team, dadgummit, and they were good. Like that is a fun team to be a part of. You got people in charge who let you do whatever you want to do. You're winning games. You got people in the locker room wilding out. You can watch some of this stuff unfold. Like, yes, yeah, they certainly deserve to be mentioned. But for me, that 01, and because there's something different about being a big man on campus type of situation in college sports. So you're in Miami. You are really good. You're beating the hell out of everybody. And, like, you're around young people your age in classes and on campus, and then you get to leave after practice and go kick it on in the clubs in Miami?
Yeah, Hurricanes.
Jonathan Vilma brought that up. Like, I'm a football player for Miami. I get in wherever I want to get in.
You know what, though? I was thinking about college and on a not partying aspect.
Okay.
Just March Madness. If there was one team I could ever be a part of.
Just for a March Madness run.
Just for the run and what it meant and what it still means, I have to go 83, North Carolina State. They upset Houston, NC State, Jim Valvano. They win the national championship 54-52. One of the greatest upsets of all time. And again, a team that has gone down in history. Do you know what I mean? Like, every time you watch March Madness, or
you think about that.
You think, yeah. So, like, that might have been one of the coolest runs of all time, and to be a part of that would have been fun in college.
Is there a college football team that comes to mind for you?
Just fun?
Yes, to be a part of.
Man, back in the day when Charlie Ward and they were running that Florida State squad, man, they looked like they were having fun. They were whipping people's tails. Bobby Bowden, he was cool as can be. That would have been a fun team.
Again, pitch you down in Florida, not that far
Beautiful
away from
ladies,
the beach.
Baby.
Tallahassee is a college town. I don't know if people realize that. Sure, it's the capital of Florida, but there are 3 colleges there. Certainly Florida State and Florida A&M. So you got both of those there in Florida A&M. A fun school to be at. So you get right up the street from one another. So, yeah, I can see that. March Madness run. That is a good point, John. That you bring up something interesting. To go down, which team would I like to go down in history with?
Gator Boys, that they had fun with Noah and stuff. That was a team that looked like they were having some fun. Remember them?
Yes.
Gator Boys.
With Joe Kim and why am I
Dude, I can't even remember anybody for some reason besides Noah.
Al Horford.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and he's even better. Yeah, that's weird.
Run through the tournament. Oh man, if the Fab Five tournament run, like I could handle losing in the Final Four or in a championship game, I can't handle losing like that, though. I can't handle losing because we told the teammate to take a timeout and he took it and we didn't have it after he obviously traveled, and that was a blown call. Final Four run or a college basketball run, I think it would be cool to be one of the underdogs. So, like, even though UMBC only got to
Syracuse,
the round of 32,
by the way,
I would like to be a part of that because it was the first 16 to knock off a 1. Like, I feel like that's a special team to be a part of. Give me UMBC. What about Syracuse?
Like Syracuse, the year that Melo like
was
that
there.
when he that would have been cool, fun. You know what I mean?
It's something about that running Rebels team with Larry Johnson and them and Sarkisian out there, or Coach Sark, excuse me, Sarkanian. Nah, I'm getting my coaches mixed up. Out there in the desert in Las Vegas with all the distractions in the world that entails. I would like to be a part of that too. That would be some fun. Text in 67129.
Do you remember the Maryland Gary Williams team that won it all?
No.
It's going to drive me crazy because they had a dude on there that I like so much, and I can't think of his name to save me. That's why I was hoping you would help me out.
No, I don't got that one. We got more texts to get to. John will figure that out on the other side. You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings right here on Real Sports Talk, 560 AM, 87.7 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Right now, it feels like the world's standing still. But if you look to the land, it's a whole different story. From farms to backyards, wheels are turning, seeds are being planted. Animals are getting fed, grass is growing, and families are giving their all to the soil. Because no matter how uncertain things get, the land never stops. So to all those linked to the land, John Deere says thank you. We're here for you because we all run together. Nothing runs like a deer.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down.
Welcome back.
The thoughts are broken.
Sports 56 Mornings. Peter and CJ. No Peter. Got CJ, though. And John. We were talking about teams we'd most like to be a part of. What was the year that Golden State Warriors team knocked off that 1 seed with Richardson and Jackson and Nelson? Do you remember that? I'm making that up because that was a fun team. And anytime the coach retires from coaching and starts growing weed, like, that's a fun locker room to be in. That's somebody who's about having some fun. And of course, you got players like Steven Jackson out there running around. Like, yeah, that might be a bit of fun. I would enjoy being on that team. Texas texting in and said Juan Dixon, John. Thank you, Texas.
Juan Dixon, man, dude, I loved him in college, and he just didn't ever. And I mean, he wasn't what I expected in the NBA, but man, he was very small. But man, in college, the dude could play.
Another Texas texted in. We were talking about teams we'd most like to be a part of. Texas texted in and said that 94 Nebraska team, and said best team ever.
2007 Golden State.
Yes, that's the team. That is them.
Steven Jackson, Monta Ellis, Matt Barnes, Al Harrington, Baron Davis, Don Nelson.
They were lifted. They were good. They were feeling real good. But yes, that is a team I would definitely. And it doesn't always have to be, for me, it doesn't always come down to winning championships. If we're having fun along the way and we do something special, and it's special to knock off as an 8 seed, knock off that 1 seed, and they were playing
2011 Memphis.
They were playing that small ball sort of style before. I think it was as common as it is now, that just run up and down the court and just hoist them up. Like, that's a fun style of basketball to play, on top of having some fun dudes to play with, and a coach who, again, when he retired, said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to Maui. What are you going to do in Maui, Don? Just going to grow some weed and grow it all.
Did you know Mike Tyson's growing a whole lot of weed, too?
I think
Mike Tyson probably would have had a lot less aggression even when he was younger. It's a good thing we didn't let him smoke before, like, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out came out and stuff.
So
I'm glad he got into it later in life, though.
Texas pointed out that 94 Nebraska team, and I don't know how much fun, as great as that team was, and John, you can help me out here, I don't know how much fun they were. Was Tom Osborne still the coach? Was he still there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I can't play for that. No. I need somebody who the coaches say is minimal at best. Minimal either because the coach just doesn't care as long as you're winning, or minimal because, in the case of Miami and Coker, the players ran it. Like, that is what I need. I don't know. I can't have that type of coach coach me if I get to choose. Now, winning is great. Are they one of the best college football teams ever? Absolutely, sure. But were they having fun? Was that fun? It didn't look fun. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, though.
I think back about those teams, those Nebraska teams, and you think about the Nebraska teams of today, it is all, like, when Osborne, 22 years in Nebraska or something, the dude was there forever, and he was a super stud. And you can go to the Scott Frosts, the Tommy Frazier's. They always had. And, man, Tommy Frazier was a different type of quarterback. My goodness. They had guys that could throw and run and do all that stuff way before it was even popular. But, of course, they were doing the triple option. But they could actually push the ball downfield, which would screw everybody up because you got 11 in the box. Next thing you know, dude's running, like, streaking down the field, and Tommy's dropping one right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, they were good. Fun, though. And how much fun can you have in middle of nowhere, Nebraska? Especially in the 90s.
Well, I'm going to say.
They did development and everything.
This is why I was going to say there had to be, like, have you never seen, like, the Farmer's Edition of, like they had back then, Like, Nebraska's got pretty girls is what I'm trying to say. There was stuff to do. You weren't that bored.
Miami has pretty girls, and it's in Miami.
No. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm down with Miami. Miami's a baller. And by the way, back then, Miami was dope as can be, too. So they were going against each other. But Nebraska was a football powerhouse.
Yeah. Oh, no. They were
and
great.
They had to have something going on. By the way, just so you know,
I don't know, John.
There had to be something going on for you to go to nowhere to play football. Hey, let's leave this great state of California or Florida or Texas or Louisiana and let's go to Nebraska in the middle of nowhere to play football.
I have some guesses on why people were so willing to go to Nebraska to play football. But
remember crazy Lawrence Phillips?
When you take into consideration though, that was one of the few programs to be on national television. And you have to think about, we weren't consuming college football in the same way that we are now, where everybody is on national TV and all these various networks have rights to these games and they can show them at various time slots. It was still like at the 11 o'clock time slot, you got one, maybe two games.
Man, I'm telling you right now, I'm starting to think maybe Tom Osborne wasn't as hard as you think. Because when you think back about it, how do you get players like Lawrence Phillips to come play for you? Richie Incognito. He got everybody and their grandmother to come out there.
Either
they were paying really well or he was cool.
Well, and you wanted to be on national TV. You wanted the exposure. Nebraska was going
Notre
to be
Dame,
able
baby.
to give you that.
That's what I was saying. Like they had the,
Notre
the
Dame,
NBC.
Nebraska, Miami back then. You could throw in like your Ohio States and some of your SEC schools also, but that was it. So they only got so many spots, John. And it does you no good to go to a Ohio State and not play, even though Ohio State is on TV, when you could go to Nebraska and play in a couple of years. But, hey, to each his own. Some people want to go play for that 94 Nebraska team and be a part of that. Great team. I just question what the hell is there to do in Nebraska in 1994. That's what I don't get. We got more
I
to
don't
come.
either.
We got more to come.
420?
Yeah, you are just
they grow corn. You got to grow some good grass, right?
You're just in a cornfield, as opposed to being in like a L.A.
They probably
or
can't
Miami.
find the grass because their corn is everywhere around it.
No, I think those plants look different, John. I think I'd be interested to know what the corn crop does from a growth standpoint for that other crop. That's what I'd be interested to know, because I think corn puts nitrogen back into the soil.
Man, I'll reach out to leafy.com.
Yeah, ask them, what does that do for the potency and the strength of the THC in the other plant? Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk some NFL next right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Between the dawn and the dark of night.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick. There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
These past several weeks, healthcare workers, first responders, and retail workers have emerged as heroes. Lowe's recognizes their efforts, and we want you to join us in creating DIY thank you messages using items you can find in your home. a can of paint, wood scraps, or even Christmas lights. You can find ideas to get you started at Lowe's.com/buildthanks. Once your message is ready, share it outside your home for them to see and online using the hashtag #BuildThanks.
Sports 56 would like to recognize local businesses that are out there still feeding and providing for the community via curbside pickup. Let's support local business with your business. These local businesses include East Memphis Ace Hardware, The Butcher Shop, El Toro Loco on Kirby, Bartlett Small Engines, Spirit Shop Liquor Store, Five Ash Roofing, Tactical Guns and Ammo, and Wolf Chase Lemon Brace. Sports 56 appreciates the support of local businesses always, but especially during this time. Thank you.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Trouble ahead, trouble behind, and know that notion just crossed my mind.
Welcome in. Welcome back. Well, welcome into some of you. Welcome back in for the rest of you on this Monday edition of Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. It's fairly nice outside. I think it's going to be a pretty nice day. Rain is supposed to move into the area according to the Doppler doohickey Wednesday. So be prepared for that. But on this 420 day, it's going to be nice out. So do with that information what you will, what you may. Texans have texted in. You can, too, be a part of the show on the First Bank text line 67129. Texter texting in says, Tom Osborne would be like playing for Tom Coughlin. No way. Like, see, that's the vibe I get from Osborne.
Man, see, I don't know if I can get that. Like, again, when you have Richie Incognitos, Lawrence Phillips, you have the guy, the kind of athlete that he got, he had to be somewhat. I mean, the dude he was a politician. You aren't a little bit shady if you can go to coaching and then to politics. Come on, you got to be a little bit you got to have some like at least leniency and somewhat give and take.
You have to. Now, winning fixes anything. You can do what you want. You can have whatever coaching style you want to have. The locker room can be as tense or as stress-free as you want it to be as long as you're winning. But if you get to pick, like in this particular situation we did on the wheel, pick the team to be most a part of, you'd want to be on some place that gives you the freedom to be an individual and have fun while also winning. And those teams are out there. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach to winning championships. Some teams do it, and they hate each other while doing it. That three-peat Lakers team, by the end of that three-peat, they really didn't like each other. That is why, in part, they lost to that Pistons team because they were at each other's throats all season long. They just couldn't gel all the way together on the court to be as great as they could have been. Like, there was a lot of potential on that Lakers squad, and because they were squabbling and beefing and fighting with one another, they just never, as great as they weren't as great as what they could be. You can also be the Patriots who go about winning championships by just super serious. Everybody do your job. Winning is fun. That's the only way to have fun.
Do your job.
That's on the Cincinnati. That's the only way we do things here. Or you can do it the way
that Icky Woods team back in the day with the Icky Shuffle. They look like they were having some fun.
You can be that Bears team in '85. You can be that Cowboys team in the '90s with Irving and them running around.
You think Eugene Robinson had a good year? The year that he was like the man of the year? Oh wait, no, because he got arrested.
Why would you bring that up?
Because I just like to bring it. He got arrested for solicitation of prostitution the night before the Super Bowl.
Man of the year, the night before the Super Bowl, gets arrested. Good grief.
I think that was entrapment. Put a good-looking woman in a uniform. She didn't look like a police officer. Haven't you seen Chappelle's show? I am not dressed like...
Yep.
And then he dresses up like a police officer. Just because I'm dressed as a police officer.
Doesn't make me one.
Does it? I love that.
I remember that bit from Dave Chappelle's stand-up. NFL news, John. A lot of stuff is going on, and it's going to continue to go on because the draft is this week. Like, it is just that simple. It is lying season. it is also trade season, like making moves because you're trying to get better. You've got these draft picks. You want to maybe trade up to get somebody, trade
I
back
got
to get somebody.
new that I'm in love with, by the way. Over the weekend, I did a lot of boring stuff to most people, but I was fun. I did a lot of baseball fantasy, like to get prepared for if we have baseball. And I watched a lot of tape from, college athletes, like draft stuff. And Isaiah Simmons, the dude who won the Butkus Award last year?
Yeah, from Clemson.
Yeah, he's 6'4", he's 240 pounds. He ran a 4.40. He played 100 plus snaps at 5 different positions in 2019. He's a modern-day hybrid. He is a defensive player. He can rush the quarterback. He can cover the running back. He can cover your wide receiver. He can cover a tight end. And by the way, he'll come up and light you up like a damn Christmas tree. He is what I call perfect for this style of football because you need speed from sideline to sideline, and he's got the size, he's got the speed. He has become my new favorite player in this draft. I like him even better than my man at Ohio State. What's his name? Chase Young.
Yeah, I've been singing his praises because of the way the game goes, and from a defensive coordinator standpoint, you want to be able to be versatile in scheme without having to change lineups, and having a player like him on the field allows you to do that. So instead of having to run in a nickel and run off a linebacker, you can keep the same formation because he is both a linebacker and a defensive back. He can be both. And if you are a team like, I don't know, the Panthers, or you're a team like the Giants, somebody who needs help on the defensive side of the field, he takes care of multiple positional needs by filling the hole and the void of one position. We saw the Steelers go up and get a similar linebacker, Devin Bush, last year because of that versatility.
You remember Keanu Neal for Atlanta before he got injured?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Simmons reminds me of him, except for he's 3 inches taller, he's 20 pounds heavier, and he ran the 40 in 4.4 when my man Neal ran in 4.5. So he's even faster. He's bigger, stronger, and faster. I like him better than Neal, and Neal, before he got injured, was a beast in Atlanta.
I mean, if you have to go up against one of these teams, Chargers, who have really good receivers, really good quarterback play, you would think you would need Isaiah Simmons because the Chargers, they unfortunately for them have to go up against Patrick Mahomes
twice.
And so you would think you would want one player who can both fill the gap on the run and get downhill on the run real fast and be good in the run game while also being able to cover not necessarily the other team's best receiver, but that slot receiver or that tight end.
That's what I was going to say. He can run. He can play
linebacker.
He can play safety. He can play. He can come up on the line and rush the passer.
Mm-hmm.
He literally can go sideline to sideline, up and down the field. There's nothing this young man can't do.
So that I'm also high on Isaiah Simmons, and it's
athlete out the frame. By the way, when you see him, he is just like, damn, he's an athlete.
Just somebody you can't. Football is about creating mismatches. And for everybody, it's about creating mismatches. What do you do poorly? Can we take advantage of it? And with him on the field, it's not something that you do poorly anymore. You don't have to take him off the field in certain situations, tipping your hand as to what's coming next for the offense. If you keep him on the field, the offense doesn't know, hey, because you're right. He can get up there. He can blitz the quarterback. He's a good pass rusher. He can get into the zone. He can run man-to-man down the field with some of these bigger tight ends. He can also run sideline to sideline with some of these faster, shiftier, quicker running backs. And he can step up and fill the hole and stop the run. So with him on the field, you're not tipping your hand at all. And that goes back to having that versatility without having to change the lineup. Having creative schemes without having to substitute players, which then tip the hand and let everybody know what's coming next. I am high on him because of that versatility, like you are, John. And there's talks that the 49ers are interested in moving one of their
I can
first
see why
round
John
picks,
Lynch would like him.
moving one of their first round picks, and also interested in trying to get Evan Ingram. So they want to go. Shanahan wants to get that what is that, zero personnel with the 2 tight ends?
I like that.
And
Jimmy
see if
G,
you can
that would
stop
help
them.
him out.
Yes. Oh, it most certainly would. And they've got the assets to do it. John Lynch has done a really good job as a general manager in making moves that not only help his team in the immediate future in the short term, but also getting them better long-term wise. And this now becomes interesting because if that number 13 overall pick is up for grabs, who moves up and what can you get at 13? Could we see a team like the Vikings move up to try and get their hand on one of these really good offensive tackles? Could we see the 49ers decide, you know what, we're going to keep that 13 pick, and with it, we're going to try and get one of these wide receivers at 13? Because they got the 13 overall pick. And from everything I've seen, John, I don't know if you've seen anything different, but Judy and them don't come off the board till around 14, 15.
And then plus, even if they're gone, you got Ruggs, you got Jefferson. This is the deepest. I've told y'all I love Rager. This is a deep wide receiver draft.
And you could have the chance, if you're the 49ers, a team that got to the Super Bowl last year and had, I don't know if they had control of the game. I never felt like they had control of the game. But from a score standpoint, had control of that game in the fourth quarter, and you could get one of the surest of things in the NFL draft by taking a Jerry Jeudy at 13. And what might that do for Jimmy G? So if you do that and you move the 31 pick for Evan Ingram, what does that do for that offense? You know, you could have Kittle. You already got, I think it's safe to say, George Kittle right now is the best tight end in the NFL. Kelsey, if you wanted to argue that, I'm not going to look at you crazy, but for my money, it's George Kittle. You can have George Kittle, Jeudy, and Evan Ingram all in your passing game. For a quarterback, it doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't. With the mind of Kyle Shanahan to organize everything and to do everything schematically to get people open and make these reads easier for you, 49ers could be looking at being big winners come this time next week after the draft if they make these moves and if they are successful in acquiring some of these studs. Again, like at 13, I would think Jeudy would be there, Henry Ruggs would be there, Justin Jefferson would be there. Like those are 3 really, really good options for you at that wide receiver spot, and they come in. Denzel Mims will be there also. They come in, and they're rookies. They don't have the expectation won't be as heavy on them, and they're coming into a winning culture and a winning franchise. I think that the 49ers could set themselves up here for a run not only next year, but for the next couple of years, depending on how that goes. Do you think, John, what do you think they'd have to give up to get Ingram from the Giants?
You know, I'm really not sure because
he's been injured.
Again, I'm not. It's too hard. Like football is really difficult, especially when you got Bill O'Brien who just gave up. You know, I'm just right now. I have no clue.
I got you.
Like, I mean, and with Leonard Fournette, like I don't know where he's going to go. I mean, like right now, honestly, the NFL draft this year, we are going to have to watch these general managers find out what they covet. You're finding out they like getting running backs on their rookie deals. They don't like the 4th and 5th year options for guys that are going on, on the way down. They don't like paying running backs lots of money. So like, I don't know Leonard Fournette had a heck of a year last year, believe it or not. I mean, he averaged 4 yards a carry. He actually caught 70-plus balls out of the backfield. Receiver. His best receiver last year, had over 1,100 yards rushing, 1,152. And again, he's, $4 million next year. They call him Derrick Henry Light. Henry's making what? $10 million next year, so that's kind of a bargain, a pretty good deal. But again, do you want to pay $4 million for Leonard Fournette for 1 year, have that 5th year option, or have to re-sign him, or do you want to go out there and get a Cam Akers or somebody on a rookie deal that's a lot cheaper that could probably just be just as good?
2 things.
It's tough.
Well, come put a pin in that Fournette thing. the 49ers have that 31 pick. They have 13 and 31. They could move back from either one of those and get more picks and then send one of those picks away for Ingram.
I wouldn't want more. I think the 49ers are too close to be. I mean, you know where they played last year. So they are not needing 10 guys.
Correct.
They need like 2 or 3 really talented players. I ain't moving back to get more picks. That's something that other teams need to do. I'm moving up if I'm doing anything, or I'm sitting firm
package 31
and I'm
and
getting
13
those
to try
guys.
and move up?
I might move up to get somebody, or I might trade them to get somebody. The 49ers, they have to go for that 1, 2, 3 players that are going to put them over the top because they're there. They don't need 6 guys to develop this year.
I think so. I think
that's the dead gum Giants.
I think that they can. Well, yes, they can use that 13 pick. Get one of these stud receivers, take that 31 pick, move back, and get
Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
I agree with that. They could do that.
That is something that is interesting as we continue to watch the NFL draft. The news cycle around the NFL draft, everything coming out. It is Lions season, so take it with a grain of salt. But one of the interesting things that could happen is the 49ers moving back, not only getting Ingram, but getting another later draft pick on top of that, because you're right, but that defense is solid, man. And if they get a couple more weapons offensively to be explosive and be able to keep up with some of the more explosive teams in the league, like that does them a world of good. Also, you bring up Leonard Fournette.
I'm going to bring up that and ask you something, and you tell me what you think.
I wouldn't mind Leonard Fournette if I'm the 49ers on the roster.
Well, here's what I would say. I see what you're saying, but you're going to think I'm crazy when I say this. But Leonard Fournette, Derrick Henry light, yes. Who was a team that was actually pretty good in the AFC East, who has not done jack in so long, who now doesn't have to face Tom Brady, who might want to? It's the Bills. They had a hell of a defense. They have a hell of an offensive line. They can run the football. Josh Allen's one of the better running quarterbacks.
They got
not
baby
named
Cam
Lamar not named Lamar Jackson. Baby Cam Newton and Josh Allen. He's not great at throwing it, but if you have Devin Singletary and Leonard Fournette and a beast like Josh Allen in that cold weather, your linebackers are going to be worn the hell out after tackling those 3.
Linebackers, and guess who all of a sudden becomes a really good quarterback? Josh Allen. Because these guys get to the edge, and now it's not linebackers having to hit them. It is defensive backs, and they get worn down. And then those passing lanes become wider as the game progresses. And so a quarterback Allen who struggles with his accuracy a bit, has a larger window for a longer period of time to throw into. That could absolutely work. I could see that working. And the Chiefs, I would think that they would be sniffing around like, hey.
See, I don't know. Okay, don't take this the wrong way. I think the Chiefs and Leonard Fournette are an absolute nightmare of a combination because of what they want to do. And I know you can sit there and say, well, he caught 70 balls last year, best receiver in Jacksonville. No, they have a big tight end. They've got, speed at the wideouts. What they want to do, they want the little guy in the backfield to basically just get to the edge, get up the field, get back in the middle, take those linebackers, make sure that they're not doubling up on Travis Kelce. They aren't trying to run the ball down your throat. They are constantly just letting Patrick Mahomes finesse and pick you apart, and he goes deep, he goes short, he goes intermediate, he goes all over, but he goes to the deadgum air. And that's why I think Leonard Fournette, I just don't see you with Patrick Mahomes, lining up in the backfield and just too tight and handing the John off. You know what I mean?
No, you wouldn't. But because we all know how great Patrick Mahomes is, second year as a starter, third year in the NFL, already a Super Bowl champion, and
Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl MVP, like he's really, really good. We know that. And everybody in the NFL knows that. So having a running back like a Leonard Fournette to try and keep everybody in the defense honest and make it to where they can't just jump on the pass and only think about the pass, so those defensive ends don't just get to pin their ears back and bow. Go, because there are some good defensive ends in that division. We talked about the Chargers earlier with Gordon, who on one side of that line and Bosa on the other side. I do believe it's Gordon, with the Gordon, the Pro Bowler, and Bosa just a stud. they don't just get to pin their ears back and just go try and get the quarterback. They have to think about the run. They have to play the run game. I think that helps them out. I'm not saying that the Chiefs all of a sudden get Leonard Fournette and decide, you know what, we're going to run the ball 30 times a game. We're going to give Leonard Fournette 25 touches. We're going to give another running back 5.
And that's why I don't think it works, because Leonard Fournette, and I got him right here, at the first quarter, he averages like 2.3 yards per rush. It's in the fourth quarter, he wears you down. He averages more yards after 20 carries is his best. He averages 5.5 yards after. So, no, Kansas City is not running the ball 30 times to get him the touches. This is just the wrong fit. Derrick Henry ain't fitting in Kansas City either. There's just certain dudes. And by the way, think about it. They line up in the shotgun with the wide receiver, the running back right next to you. He catches the snap. He fakes the handoff. It is to hold the defensive end, because he's either going to hand it. If the defensive end crashes, he's handing it. Or if he pulls it and he's crashing, he just flips it out to him. But that's how they do it. They do everything in that quick speed option, kind of like Lamar Jackson did. Things are in shotgun. And Leonard Fournette, I don't think can be in a shotgun-based system. And that's why I think he needs to be with a weak-throwing quarterback, and that's why I like Josh Allen.
Melvin Ingram. I got my Melvins confused. Melvin Gordon is the running back.
Correct. I wasn't going to even bring – yeah, I knew exactly what you meant.
Gosh, all these damn Melvins running around here.
I do it all the time, so.
Jacksonville has an issue with keeping supremely talented guys
damn straight they
happy.
Do.
And you can't do that, because as great a draft as you have, and they had a good draft where they drafted Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey
you
is no
longer with the team. You want to go to England a bunch of times, man?
You've got a pretty good running back, a running back who, if you said top 10 in the NFL, I don't think anybody would bat an eye about. In Leonard Fournette, but he's, quote, been a bit of a headache, a bit of a problem for them as a franchise and as an organization. He had that year, the first 2 years where he had a bunch of injuries, but he showed last year he played 15 games. He didn't miss a game till week 17. And he was really effective, really good. Now, didn't get in the end zone a whole lot, but I think some of that is a function of the offense being not near on the level it needed to be a really good or to be a decent NFL offense. There's something there if Leonard Fournette gets in the right situation.
I agree. He was a beast in college. By the way, though, think about this.
He's still relatively cheap.
Christian McCaffrey went after Leonard Fournette, same draft, by the way, just a little reminder.
Christian McCaffrey went after him. Patrick Mahomes went after him.
Oh, yeah. He went, way too high. But he was a stud. But here, I want to ask you this. Do you agree with me on this? Is it Jacksonville? Is it the city? Is it because Jacksonville is just not all that fun? Is it Saheed Khan, their owner?
It's him.
That's what I was thinking. Or is it just a simple fact, when you got an owner who is down with playing 2 games, they're going to be the first team in history to play 2 games at Wembley Stadium. Did you know that?
It's him.
Like, I would just be like, hold up, man. You're telling me I got to go on the road for 8 weeks, and then now you're saying that out of 6 weeks that I would be at home, 8 weeks that I would be at home, 2 of them, my home games are going to be in England?
It's not just that, but it's the fact we talked about teams we'd like to be a part of, and as great and as successful as those Giants teams were with Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin, not really fun. And you go and you get Tom Coughlin and you bring him into your organization thinking, you know what, we'll get that discipline thing going and we'll win some games. When you're winning, it's cool. Everybody understands and is fine with the super strict guy when you're winning. But when you're a so-so, when you're okay, when you're just getting into the playoffs every now and then, like you're going to butt heads with that person. And that played a role in it also for the Jaguars. You're looking around and you're looking up and you've got an owner who, to your point, John, you're right, is trying to move the team from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the London Jaguars, and you've got somebody in the front office who is telling you, yo, if you 5 minutes if you're
on time, you're 5 minutes late.
And we got to find you. Like that's not fun. That wears on you as a player. You don't want to be a part of that.
No, that's not fun.
You don't. So it's a combination of things. But there is definitely something going on in Jacksonville, and they need to fix that. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how good a draft they have or how good these young players are that they got coming in. When those players become veterans, they're going to look around and they're going to hear stories from other people like, wait, y'all don't do this too? This isn't how y'all run? Y'all actually having fun? No, I need to get up out of here. They're not trying to pay me anyway. I need to go. We got more to come on the other side. We're going to talk Tigers in the draft. Tigers football have a couple players eligible for the draft this year, a couple players who we think are going to get drafted this year. We'll talk about that and more NFL on the other side.
Setting the line, 1.5 or 2.
We'll talk about that on the other side. Don't touch that dial.
Sportstime on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year. Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is CJ Hurt from Sports 56 Mornings. During this coronavirus pandemic, many of you are spending all day at home, and we remind you that you can stay in touch and connected through Sports 56. Turn us on your radio, computer, phone, or smart speaker and stay up to date and connected. Meanwhile, keep practicing social distancing and remember to wash your hands often, and hopefully before long, we can get back to some sort of normalcy. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected with Sports 56 and Sports56WHBQ.com.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Welcome back. Sports 56 Mornings. Texas can text in on the First Bank text line, 67129. We talked some in that 8:30 segment about teams we most like to be a part of. We got on the Gator Boys, the Al Horford and Joakim Noah team.
I'm sorry. I love you, but that was good.
Joakim Noah team. Jarvo texted in, let me know that Mike Miller was on that first Gator team. I forgot.
Oh, wow, I forgot.
I really think Mike Miller's been playing basketball professionally since the 90s. I don't know why. No clue why I think he was around during the same time as the Last Dance documentary was filmed. Like I think of Mike Miller as a 90s basketball player, but he was very much on that team. And then we, of course, all know that he comes here and plays for the Grizzlies, and they go to the playoffs. Mike Miller had a nice little run, collegiately and professionally. More text on teams to be a part of. Another text says, bad boy era Pistons, beating the hell out of everybody. Like, I imagine if you were a goon, you'd find that way of playing fun. And just going out there to fight people and be
Isaiah was fun, though.
Isaiah is fun.
Lambeer smacking folks. Joe Dumars.
I don't know what practice was like with Bill Lambeer because, like, I'm not trying to get hit like that in practice. That's not fun for me.
I would think he took it easier on his teammates.
Would you?
I would hope.
I would hope so, too, but I'm not so sure Dennis Rodman, Lambeer, and them would go easy. Mahorn would go so easy on everybody. I don't know. I don't know about that one. But they were certainly, we talked some about how great the teams were in the 80s and early 90s in the NBA and how Jordan had to go through all of these people to get a championship. Well, that boys Pistons team can say, hey, we had to beat Jordan's Bulls, Birds, Celtics, and Magic's Lakers to get our championship. Like, that was a hell of a run that they went on as well. Talked a lot of NFL in the last segment. We're going to continue to talk NFL. One of the things that came up is what are the 49ers going to do? Because that is a team that was really good this year, has the 13 overall pick because of a trade. I can't remember who they got that from. Everything in me wants to say the Colts. I'm not all the way sure, though. But they have that pick, and we were trying to figure out they got it from the Colts with news that they're interested in getting another tight end, a tight end to go alongside George Kittle. The news breaking that they were interested in grabbing Evan Ingram and maybe moving back some in the draft. John said that there's no reason for him to move back, and I get that, and I understand.
I just don't. With your too close, with as many studs as there are in this year, I can't. I moved back maybe late, but at 13, I'm giving Jimmy G a weapon.
13, absolutely. I'm in a full-on agreement. You get one of those stud receivers at 13. They don't have a pick after that 31st pick. They don't have a pick till 176. They don't have a pick in the second, third, or fourth round. Which, again, if you're the 49ers, to your point, and I think you're spot on, in the short term, you don't need to be going out there. It's not much you can do. You don't need to be adding a whole bunch of dudes to a roster that got you to the Super Bowl. You need to add the right pieces and the right players. But still, in the long term, though, it would be nice of you to be able to get another young player. So that's why I think if I was them, I'd move back from 31 and try and get, it's a sucker born every minute, every second, they say. Try and fleece the Giants. Move back from 31, get a couple of picks from them and Evan Ingram. I think that would do you a whole lot of good. We're going to talk some about the Tigers. John put the number at 1.5 Tigers drafted in this draft. We'll talk about that here in a second. But before we do, let me tell everybody about Corky's. They've been serving authentic Memphis barbecue for almost 40 years. During these difficult times, Corky's want to take the hassle of cooking off your plate. Pick their family pack for 6. That includes pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, buns, fried chicken bites, and to top it all off, Corky's homemade banana pudding for only $44.99. That's just $7.50 per person. If you happen to be out around lunchtime, take advantage of their lunch combo that includes a pulled pork sandwich, fries, 32-ounce drink for only $6.99. If you don't want to get out, they offer convenient delivery through Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub. The wife and I had Corky's on Thursday. And it was super easy, man. We went online, we placed the order, we paid, and they told us, your wait will be about 25 minutes. 20 minutes later, I got in the car, drove to the Corky's, didn't even have to get out the car, came through the drive-thru, told them my name, told them what I had ordered. They brought the food out to me. It was real quick, real convenient. So definitely check it out. Corky's BBQ is a taste of Memphis everywhere. Corky'sBBQ.com. Over under 1.5 Tigers drafted, John.
I'm going under 1.5.
One is definitely, catch that door for me. One is definitely going to get drafted. Antonio Gibson is certainly going to get drafted.
That's the only one I'm sure on.
It gets interesting after that because Patrick Taylor Jr.
I don't think he gets drafted. I think he's going to be, the guys that's going to be grabbed, after. I think he's going to make a roster. Think about, Alan Cross back in the day, how he got picked up by Tampa. I think he's going to get picked up. But if you talk about drafted in this draft, from the University of Memphis. I think it's one guy, and I think it is all day long, all day strong, Antonio Gibson. And I hate to say this, but I think he's one of the top probably 5 guys coming out of the American, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because of we talked about Isaiah Simmons and his versatility on the defensive side of the ball. Antonio Gibson gives you that versatility to a certain extent on
Kansas
the offensive
City
side
is
of
actually
the ball.
would be perfect for somebody like Gibson.
Can play receiver, he can play running back, and he is really good in the special teams. And we've seen players, Cardell Patterson comes to mind, who stay on NFL rosters. They're third or fourth receiver at best, but they stay on NFL rosters because in the receiving game, they are so dynamic and so explosive. Not receiving, excuse me, special teams game. In the
I think
kick return,
Gibson's
punt
going to be
return
more
game.
so than just that. I think he's a better running back. I think he's a better receiver of the football, actually. He's not as fast, but I think, like I said, he's a guy who, after you get the ball in his hands, he makes people miss. He does things with it, and he can do – I mean, he is so damn versatile at 6'2", 225.
Yes, and that versatility is really, really important because it keeps everybody guessing, and they don't know what you got going on based off your lineup, because Gibson is a player who, if he lines up at running back, he can, like you said, he can make people miss. He could get big chunk plays in the run game. So you have to honor that. So you got to keep that linebacker, that extra linebacker on the field, and then the quarterback sticks his little leg back, bow, and all of a sudden Gibson is in motion lining up in the slot as a receiver. And so now you've got a mismatch that has been created because you've got a linebacker trying to keep up with this super quick, super speedy running back or receiver. So, yeah, I think Gibson, I've seen him as high as the late 3rd round. Most people have him in the 4th round. So I think he definitely gets drafted. Patrick Taylor Jr. is one, though, that I'm with you. I think it's going to be one Memphis Tiger drafted, which is still pretty good for a program. One of the things that you can point to and say, hey, Tigers football is different, not only because they're winning games on the field, but look at what they're doing with the NFL draft. But Patrick Taylor Jr. is one who was really good with Henderson in the backfield as a nice 1-2 punch. I don't know if he can be a change of pace back for you in the way that Tony Pollard is for the Cowboys, another Memphis Tiger. I think he's coming in because he is such a big back. He's going to come in and be your bruiser. And are you going to be willing to take that type of a player later in the draft, in the 6th or 7th round? Or are you going to try and take a flyer on somebody? I think we know what Patrick Taylor Jr. is. We know that he is a big back, he is a physical back, and he's going to play like one. That is what he is. I don't think that there is any thought that he could be, his ceiling is super high. I think his floor is low, though. Well, wait. His floor is high, but his ceiling is low. So what he could be versus what he really is right there in the middle.
You're going to get what you get with Patrick Taylor.
And that's all. And so I don't know if that warrants you drafting that sort of a running back, even later in the draft. That is my thinking on Patrick Taylor Jr. But, hey, 6 straight drafts, the Tigers are going to have somebody drafted, which is really good. Really, a lot of teams, a lot of college football franchises, a lot of college football programs can't say that they're on a streak like that. And if you go to Dontari Poe, I guess 2012. 2012, you had a hiccup in 2013 where nobody got drafted, but 2012 to now, the renaissance of Tigers football is evident in the draft room as well. That's their most consecutive years with a player drafted since, I do believe they had 9 players or 9 years drafted, 8 years. 8 years with a player drafted from 83 to 91. So this is good. This is real good and real impressive for the Tigers, and it bodes well and speaks highly of the program, of what Mike Norvell and Justin Fuente did here in their time, what they hope to continue to have rolling.
We got right now, and I hate to say it, but I'm not trying to just be that Memphis. Let me give you my Memphis love. But Anthony Miller is I think he has a chance to be a good ball player in the National Football League. Bobby McCain. You got Jannard Avery's out there. You got Jake Elliott kicking the ball for the Eagles. I don't know whatever's going to happen with Paxton Lynch. He's going to hold a clipboard forever. You got Martin Nafetti out there, Tony Pollard. Daryl Henderson might get his shot this year. This is like there's some, there's an opportunity out there to see some Memphis dudes on Sunday, and we went through years where this was the worst team in the world, it felt like.
Yeah, and there wasn't a whole lot to get excited for, a whole lot to look forward to. That Tigers in the NFL segment, well, not segment, but bit that they do in Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium during Tigers football home games, it was like Dontari Poe and Gostowski
and D'Angelo Williams.
And that was it.
Now
that was a
they
whole
got
lot of dudes.
Clint McDonald and
yeah. You run through there, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I forgot he was in the NFL. Yeah, they've gotten to that level.
Talked about my tight end just a minute ago, and then I forgot
Alan
him.
Cross.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is another feather in the cap, if you will, for Tigers football, a program who, like you said, was down for such a long time, and now you have 9 players with with what's looking like 10 players drafted in the past 7 years or so, from 2014 to now. That's really impressive. A couple of first rounders in there, a couple of guys who are making their mark on their team in there. That's something you can sit down when you're recruiting these kids and say, listen, this is I know that you might think this is a lesser program, but we send people to the NFL, and they're still on rosters now. We can get you grown. We can get you developed if you're Coach Silverfield. We can get you to the NFL. Look at what Tony Pollard is doing. Look at what Daryl Henderson or Jannard Avery are doing or have done. We can get you there. You just got to trust the process, trust us, and come be a Memphis Tiger. That helps. That helps tremendously when you have to sit down and try and recruit against some of these other schools in the area.
Art Millette, forgot about him.
Oh.
Quarterback had an interception last year when they were playing Buffalo in Week 17.
Look at you. I forgot all about Art.
I did too.
So, yeah, Antonio Gibson is definitely going to keep that streak alive. The question is, over under 1.5, I'm going to take the under. And listen, they are saying that Vegas is taking so much money on the NFL draft because of no live sports. Already they've taken in more money than they took in all of last year on the draft. And there's still a week left to put money down on the draft and bet on some of these things. John, I'll ask you, who's going to be the second quarterback drafted, Second quarterback drafted. Joe Burrow goes first. Joe Burrow, I don't know why I want to put an S on that. Joe Burrow goes first. Who's the second quarterback taken?
I think they're probably I think they're going to take Tua. I think somebody's going to take Tua.
Tua's got the best odds. Tua's got the best odds, minus 500. Justin Herbert is at plus 350. Jordan Love, plus 1,200. The field is plus 2,000. So if you'd like anybody outside of those three to be taken
a lot of people
second.
are talking about the Patriots getting my man from Georgia, then to Washington, Mr. Eason, 6'6", big guy with a big arm in the second round. What do you think about him with the Patriots?
It's interesting. Eason does not do it
they've gone
for
from Jordan
me.
Love. They've had a bunch of people going to the Patriots, but this was just the weekend thing that I watched in the NFL.
Eason doesn't do it for me personally, but in the second round, and you're the Patriots, you want a quarterback. You need a quarterback to begin your future with after having that 19, 20-year run with Tom Brady. I would think the Patriots would go after a Cam Newton and try and find a way to use that and get a lower risk quarterback in a later round.
Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. That sounds like the start of a horrible joke.
That would be fun for me. We're talking about like polarizing characters on two completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Does Cam still get to rock the cool outfit?
No, that's what I'm saying. Cam, take off that dead gum. You're not allowed to dress. Listen. You dress like a football player in football. He would not let him wear the Gina Davis driving Miss Daisy bonnet.
Here's another one for you. When will CD Lamb be drafted?
Man,
over 12.5 or under 12.5?
Under.
That is minus 150. Minus 150 on the under, plus 110 on the over 12.5.
Am I crazy? I kind of like Lamb better than Judy.
John, I think those are two sure things in this draft. In a draft that has a lot of really good players, your Joe Burrows, your Chase Youngs. I think Okuda is going to be really good. Isaiah Simmons, we talked about him. I think Judy and CD Lamb, and I'll throw Ruggs in there also, are real sure things.
Justin
like you're not going to miss
Jefferson,
on that.
I think, is going to be great as well.
One of these quarterbacks, we talked about quarterbacks earlier, and where would Tua be? His former teammate, Jalen Hurts. What round will he be drafted, John? 3, 2, 1, or rounds 4 through 7?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was completely spacing it.
What
were you asking me?
What round will Jalen Hurts get drafted?
4th.
4th round. Rounds 4 through 7 are plus 300. Round 3, the 3rd round is plus 115. The 2nd round is plus 160. First round, if you think he's a first rounder, somebody's going to draft him in the first round, you can get that odd at plus 1,200.
I think he's early in the 4th round, and that's plus what?
4th round is plus 300. Rounds 4 through 7 are plus 300. Okay. Will any draftee be shown drinking a beer, John? Yes or no? No's minus 400. Yes, plus 250.
Yes, absolutely. They're going to be at home.
You're
going to be like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, what do football players drink? You think they're going to be drinking like a mint damn julep? This ain't a horse race, homie. These are football players.
And they're grown. They're of age.
And they grown-ass men.
Home.
They drinking.
The Rona got everybody feeling a certain type of way.
Now, they ain't drinking Rona, by the way. Have you seen how cheap Corona is lately?
No, I haven't.
I actually bought some because it's so cheap.
All right, last two, John. Last two. Total numbers of dogs shown during the first round. Over or under 3.5?
Over by far. The new way to pick up a chick today is a dog. Trust me. I got people all the time, and it's so sad. Guys asking to borrow Freddie and Penny to go out and pick up girls. Sick freaks.
Girls and kids, man. That does it.
Dude, I don't know, understand what the kid, dude. Kids?
I don't know. I kick it with my nieces all the time. And the attention I get from the female persuasion, it is completely different. So over on the over under is 3.5 on the dog thing. So over 3.5 dogs is plus 100. Under 3.5 dogs minus 140. Last one. Total number of cats shown during the first round. Over under 0.5.
Under. Nobody's going to show a cat.
You don't think anybody's going to show the cat?
Cats don't like sitting on people's laps. Cats,
but just in the background.
Nope, you ain't even going to see a cat nowhere. Cat's gone. If there's people around, cat's hiding.
Okay. All right. Those odds are both at minus 120. We got more to get to. You don't want to miss it right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Be a part of the show. Text in 67129 on the First Bank text line. Call in 360-8255 on the First Bank phone lines. You're listening to Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Back need protection. I told LD that treachery.
Welcome back, or welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Sports 56 Morning. Be a part of the show by texting in 67129, 67129. We talked a lot about that Bulls documentary in the first segment of the second hour. If you missed that or any portion of the show, go check us out, sports56whbq.com, or on your Sports 56 app. Click podcast folder, and you can catch that show if you missed it or any part of the show. Text it in on that topic. I remember working a charter flight years ago for the Washington Wizards when Doug Collins was the coach, and we were ready to go. Coach came to me and said, we got a player on his way, and we'll be here in 5 minutes. Guess who? Michael Jordan. He was at Foxwoods Casino and lost $2.5 million and wasn't leaving till he won it back. So as Jordan gets out of his limousine, I asked him how he did. He tells me up $5 million, and the plane leaves for Washington 3 hours late. Like, those are the stories you get from Jordan. Just somebody who was that daggum competitive. Also, you could lose $2.5 million. No, I lost $80 one time and shut it down. Was ready to go. I can't imagine losing $2.5 million. I can't. But hats off to him for that. We talked some NFL draft. And John, sleeper, real quick. Sleeper, somebody you don't think is getting enough attention in the draft. I think it's Isaiah. And it is wild because Isaiah Simmons is going to be a top 10 pick. But
I think he's going to be a top 5 pick. I bet he doesn't go past. There's no way he goes past 5.
I don't think people understand how good he is, or what a player like that might do for you in the NFL, in today's NFL.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a guy that played at LSU, and he reminds me of Ray Rice. He is 5'7". He's 207 pounds. He did everything exceptional in college, played against one of the best defenses, and nobody's talking about this guy as one of the elite running backs. Yes, I love Swift. I love Akers. I love other people, but you remember Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU. I don't know when he's going to get picked, but he's going to be a damn good running back in the National Football League because it's hard to tackle the bowling ball.
I'll stand with that position. And it hurts me. Oh, it hurts me how good this daggum team is, how good this program is.
You going with J.K. Dobbins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
see, I'm not as high on J.K.
I think J.K. and what's my man's name? Penn State receiver.
He's dope now.
Why can't I think of this dude's name? Oh, it's going to bother me. I should know it because he was running all over Michigan the whole daggum time he was there. John, help me out. Anyways, him. What's the Penn State receiver's name?
Hamler? KJ?
KJ Hamler.
See, I kept thinking BJ because BJ Armstrong, we talked about him earlier.
I wanted to call him the Hammer, but it's Hamler.
Oh, it's Hammer. Yes, it is, and I think it is KJ.
Yeah, KJ. I think he's another one of these really...
Clifford the Big Red Dog and KJ Hamler, and they couldn't get it done.
I think he is one of those, one of these receivers in this really good class of receivers who could be, have a real impact, not only in his first season, but in future seasons as well in the NFL. I think J.K. Dobbins is explosive enough to be your dude on first and second down in the NFL, and maybe even early on in his career, be your guy third down as well, being that third down back who catches the ball out of the backfield. Now he's got to be able to pick up blitzes in the NFL. We've seen some players struggle to do that early in their careers, but he's got to be able to do that. And if he can do that, I think J.K. Dobbins, the ceiling is sky's the limit for a player like that. I really like him, and I'm glad that he is no longer at Ohio State. Maybe Michigan can find a way to beat the Buckeyes this season. Maybe. I doubt it. So bad. Thank you guys for listening. Eli's got you guys covered on the other side. He's going to be talking with Gabe and others. It's going to be a great show. They're going to talk NFL draft. They're going to talk Tyler Harris transfer and so much more on Sports 56 middays. It's 4:20. I told John I'd get out here at 56. So, John, play the people out. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
It's a buck dancer's choice, my friends. Better take my advice. You know all the rules by now and the fire from the ice. Will you come with me? Won't you come with me? Oh, what I want to know. Will you come with me?
Oh, whale! Guys, whale! Wow, whale. Oh, that's a big whale. Okay. Whale. Oh, no, whale!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Get a quote today in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com.
Well, at least it wasn't a shark, am I right?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month